OBS Studio instead of Streamlabs OBS, but turns out I hadn't had that set up properly, so we just had to go back to Streamlabs OBS for now. But we are currently live, I hope. You should be able to see and hear me. Anyway, like I was saying, if you didn't know, over on the Patreon, we hit the first ever Patreon goal, which was $100 a month, and that $100 meant that we had to basically I re-release all of these old terrible videos, and not only that, but we do a watch party where we all just like watch and judge me for them. So we're gonna do that. This playlist is public on my channel. I'm not sure if I relist them all, you will see all of the, like, if it will like clog up the sub boxes. So I haven't actually like made the videos public, but they are unlisted. So if you have access to this playlist, you can see them all. Again, someone let me know if you can see/hear me. I should be back now. I'm gonna throw some question marks in the chat just to make sure that you can see/hear me. Wicked. So I am here. If you are relatively new to the channel, you may not know that I used to try and make videos about Pokemon before I made videos about like politics and gender, and they weren't very good, to say the least. The editing is pretty sound, like, but the audio mixing is bad, and just like the performances are bad, like, in all honesty. So what we're going to try and do is see if we can deal with watching them all together, and if I get too sort of self-cringe, I will stop and we'll play some games for them. So yeah, let's go, shall we? Let's go over to this, which of course isn't set up properly. Boom. Is that better? Yes. Wonderful. So there are a lot of videos in this playlist. We might not get through all of them. I don't know how long the whole playlist. 31 videos. We might be able to get through 31. I'm not sure. But these are fine videos. I always like them. I get always to throw it. Again, they're not private. They're just unlisted. This second one, I quite like the second one. First one, I'm going to be stopping and starting all the way through to like add my own commentary, and it's going to be weird me talking over myself, but we will live and learn together. I sound really bored in the first couple, and I'll explain that as we go. Can you hear? I don't think you can hear that. So let me... Hello, Ayakara. Welcome. Okay, now you should be able to hear. I don't know if you can hear. Can you hear that? Why is nothing working? Why is nothing working, everyone? Why is everything broken? The one time I try to stream. Try that one, maybe. Ooh. Yeah, not that works. All fanfic. Wicked. Hello, friends. Mew here. Welcome to the first in what I hope to be a series that I'm calling Low Stakes Theories. I really liked the idea of doing
to herald the end of
theories
the world,
that didn't matter,
or reveal a beloved character to be dead, or the villain all along.
Because I was bored of these really like over the top.
Take the form of
everyone is evil.
Enhance your enjoyment of the game.
And I like the idea of doing something that didn't really matter.
Today we're talking Pokemon. Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald to be precise.
Also, the editing is like really over the top.
Gym to be even more precise.
I don't know what that swishy thing is.
I
don't know what the swishy thing is.
In a town shadowed by a volcano, there are hot springs, there are old people, but all the trainers in the gym are fire type and use fire type Pokemon like Numel and Slugma.
This came from a stream, didn't it?
For her. Battle Girl
I'm pretty
Danielle.
sure this, I don't know what all of this technical nonsense. This is when I was using Vegas.
Level 23
I hate using Vegas. Vegas is garbage.
Last I checked, Meditite was psychic
Meditite?
fighting type.
Don't even know how.
What gives? Well, We know
I
Flannery
don't think I have
has newly taken over this gym. As mentioned by people around Laveridge and Falaba Town, the way she talks when you first battle her alludes to the fact that she's not super confident in this whole gym leader thing.
That, like, this will be a consistent problem. Music will be too loud.
Actually get a badge offer.
And yeah, this is when I was doing.
So when Flannery took over from her granddad in the gym,
see all of this,
she likely wanted to fill the
all
gym
of this
with
nonsense.
talent
I never do
and
this
training
anymore. I got really lazy. I
However,
never do any of
as
this
the new
anymore.
leader, she may not have been able to attract as much attention from the tryout, audition, whatever process she used.
I don't know what that was. That flash.
I theorize that she needed one extra trainer to complete her vision, to complete her ambience. So she called on a friend, the best trainer.
Yo, girl,
she knew,
want to fight in my gym?
a battle girl.
Why didn't I flip that? Why isn't that
Danielle
flipped?
feels out of place here, hence why she acts so apprehensive when she locks eyes with you. This is bolstered by the fact that she didn't use the right type of Pokemon. But what does that say about Flannery?
I don't dislike the
Once you
theory.
beat
The theory's
Flannery,
still pretty sound.
She says she tried.
Like, not that it. Like,
to be
again, it doesn't
something
matter.
she's not.
Nothing matters. But
So what if she's not a fire trainer? What if she is a battle girl too?
I don't like this bit.
She doesn't
this
seem
this is
too
a bit of a
dissimilar
stretch.
from the sprite. Just a bottle of hair dye, a new set of clothes, and boom, fire type gym leader. But that's for another time. Another low stakes theory.
The theory
Thank
that
you for
Pikachu
watching,
is a
guys.
battle
Please
girl.
leave a
Yes.
like if you liked the video. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.
The editing is sound. I love the editing in these early videos. I get really lazy with the editing. Like now, my videos are just so lazy and boring now. But like, I don't know why I sound so bored. Like, the content of the video isn't that bad. Like, again, like the visual jokes are there. The like all of this, like all of these graphics and nonsense. It's great. Like, the actual theory itself, like, well, lack of theory,
She needed one.
is pretty great, but I sound so goddamn bored. I try not to sound that bored anymore, but ugh. Anyway, let's move on to, like, this. I really like this one.
Hello, Franz. Mew here. Time for
couldn't even
another
edit out the
low-stakes
chair noise.
theory, where we overthink tiny things that don't matter in our favourite games. On today's agenda, Pokemon Gold and Silver, and everyone's favourite NPC, Cal.
I seem to be the only fucking person who
Cal.
remembered this
You know,
NPC in the
Cal.
slightest.
From the
Nobody else I
trainer
speak
house,
about knows
Cal?
gives a shit about Cal.
Well, to catch you up, after you've beaten Johto, you can explore Kanto, and you find that the Pokemon Academy in Viridian City has been replaced with the Trainer House.
Again, with the big
Inside
snappy
the Trainer
editing, it's
House is
great.
the last player you used Mystery Gift with, and you can battle them with whatever team they had at the time. Or, if you're like me and you didn't have friends to Mystery Gift with, you'd fight Cal instead.
Again, I think this is
Cal
the
has
only
3
reason
starters,
that I know
all
who
fully
Cal is,
evolved, level
because we can
50,
only afford one Game
you
of
battle
Boy
them once a
in
day,
our house,
gives
so
you
there was no
cash, then you
Mystery
leave.
Gift.
Normal, right? Wrong.
Oh,
Because
quality
there's
of the
one
video is so
interesting
bad.
thing about Cal. See, in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, he is an ace trainer. But in the original games, he's you. He has the same trainer
dun,
sprite
dun.
as you do.
Oh, you battled Cal last time. It's wicked.
And here is where things
I'm glad I'm
get
not alone.
weird. See, in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it was heavily implied that every
see.
copy of the game is a parallel universe inside the Pokemon multiverse.
One, that edit is fucking great. The Master Ball and then the word Ultiverse next. Mwah. Old me was a genius. But, okay, to the point. And the Solid Little Mix cameo. But, like, okay, I say heavily imply there because I've never played those games. To this day, I've never played those games. So, I don't know for sure if that's what happens. I could be, like, completely pulling that out my ass. But I've worked with Toby enough at this point that I hadn't even worked with Toby at this point. I just sort of Googled shit at this point and realized that, oh, hey, he's kind of they kind of do multiverse, but this could be completely wrong.
So when you communicate with other games via Mystery Gift, for example, you're bridging the gap
That is, again,
between
solid
these
fucking
separate
visual.
universes,
Great visual.
which is not dissimilar to, say, an Ultra Wormhole. I posit that the Trainer House in Viridian
there's a weird
City
cut
is
there.
on a
Don't
sort
like the
of
cut there.
universal anomaly, like the...
Just pulling fucking, oh yeah, multiverse wormhole. There's a crack in fucking space time under this house. Just go with it. Just fucking roll with it.
Cardiff Rift in Doctor Who.
When you
I can think
communicate
of
with
one
another player, a
example.
fragment of them falls through into your universe. A snapshot of them at that time
Love Butlord. We love ourselves a
falls
Butlord.
through the rift. This is why the trainer house has so many glitches in it.
I was really proud of that bit. That bit there where I I'm I don't just want to go, oh, these videos are great, because they're really not. But when I found out that there are shit tons of trainer house glitches, I'm like, oh, that works so well. Works so heavily in my favour.
It is an unstable mess, and I posit that they built the
love just
trainer
calling
house
old things in
on
Pokemon
the
messes,
rift
'cause they
to
are.
house all of the trainers
those
that
old
have
games are
fallen
fucking
through
messes.
into this rift. But who exactly built it? Well, of course, it was the first traveller, the first person to get lost and find themselves here. This person was collateral damage when a certain evil team leader opened themselves an ultra wormhole.
Again, never played these games either, so I might be making this up as well.
That is right. Cal comes from the same universe that Rainbow Rocket's Giovanni came from.
Does that make
Giovanni
sense?
opened the wormhole, Cal got sucked inside and dumped into the temporal rift underneath an abandoned trainer academy in a land that was familiar, but not too familiar.
Another solid cameo there.
He turned this abandoned academy into his house, his trainer house. And he then gave hospitality to all of the other lost travellers that fell through when wormholes opened, when universes collide. But anyway, that is the theory.
Interdimensional
Please leave a like if you liked the video, leave a comment on what you think if you have an alternate explanation, subscribe if you want to see more of this. Thank you for watching, and as always, love you, bye.
You didn't realise I hadn't played the game and just bought it, but like I don't know if I would have said like I don't buy this. I don't think okay. I put a poll out on Twitter the other day. Like, when you theorize, do you like try and decode or try and interpret? This is 100% interpretation. Like, this is just a cool thing that could exist. This definitely isn't the way things like are. But it's just a bit fun, innit? I don't think I'd buy it as well, but it would be really cool if it was true. That's my main takeaway. And no, I never played Ultramoon, or I don't really play the remakes at all. So,
Hello, Franz. New here. I've been watching a lot of Birdkeeper Toby's videos,
this is before I worked for him. This is that.
especially
I'm just
those
a
What
fan
If I Were a
now.
Gym Leader ones. I really like them. They're super cool. At the end of the video, he calls to action. He suggests people make their own videos. And even though he started that thing like 2 years ago, here's mine.
Again with the flashy editing, because I've got no
What
face.
if I were a gym leader? Well, we'll get to that later, but for now, I was talking to a friend of mine. She's a maths teacher. I asked her this question, and to be honest, her idea was cooler than mine.
I still don't have an idea. I still have zero ideas for this. I don't know what. Yeah, like, I know this isn't a thing, but what if it is? Yeah, what if it is? I got into an argument in a Discord server about like theorizing being that. I think theorizing is that, and it should be that, and it's more fun if it is that. Like, the idea that like anyone theorizes to go, no, this is it, and this is what was intended, is just really, really reductive, and like is just playing in one corner of the sandbox and then shouting at everyone else that's playing in the rest of it. But anyway,
So, let's talk about hers.
this is just a
She
gym
said,
idea.
one of the most fundamental, the most normal things in the universe is numbers. And normality is normal because of the way numbers work.
I'm not a math teacher. She might be talking out her arse now.
So with that in mind, here is her normal type gym. You enter the gym, you see a single, thick metal door with gibberish letters scrawled on it. Next to the door is a trainer, who of course battles you. They're a security guard or policeman trainer class. They have a clink and a clef key. You may notice that these aren't normal types, however this isn't a trainer in the gym, but simply a security guard, guarding the real entrance to the gym. Of course you beat them, 2 Pokemon, not too much of an issue, and they say, "Well, you've proved your mettle, now you must prove your brains. What's the code?" And your first thought should be, what code? You've never been given a code, you just
It's not
walked
quite
in
an
here.
escape room.
You get a text entry box to type in the code, and of course, you get it wrong.
It's
Even if you enter it perfectly because you looked it up online, there's a check in the game to see if you have in fact done the thing, so no cheating.
no speedruns.
Either way,
no
the
speedruns.
trainer says you're wrong and kicks you out of the gym.
Look at that. I never do shit like that anymore. I never animate anything.
That next, but the
I'm
guy,
so lazy now.
The champ in the making guy. He tells you this city loves code breaking, or cryptography as it's called. He advises you to do a rotation of the city and talk to one of the citizens.
What is do a rotation? That's such a weird phrasing. Nobody says that. You do
I
a
get some
lap.
clues about what the code might be. So you do. You go into one of the houses, into the market, you get some clues. And some of the citizens will give you numbers. One will say, I think it's +3. Others will say, oh, I think it's -5. So on, until you get 6 number-based clues. And you add them together and you find, let's say, +8. But remember what the advisor told you? Do a rotation?
I forgot that came back.
Clue.
I forgot that ended up being
code
something.
on the door is a password. Just that each of the letters is 8 letters previous in the alphabet, as if the alphabet has been rotated 8 letters back.
I did wonder why
You
that
add 8
phrasing was so
letters to
clunky.
each of the letters in the alphabet on the scrolling on the gate. You return to the gym, you enter the password, and the door opens, and you're greeted by a mathematician, gym leader Pixie.
I did get duped by my own
Compliments you
puzzle.
on your cryptography.
I got totally
Approaches
duped.
you. She apologizes, stating most people don't break the code, and therefore she may be a little rusty. And the battle begins.
I was very proud of that. I did that. I had to hand animate that.
But not just any ditto, an imposter ditto. Pixie assumes you're going to bring out a fighter first, and with this, she can knock you off kilter. Well, you take down this transformer, and she sends out.
Why didn't I cut that bit out?
Porygon.
Bad.
This Porygon would of course have conversion 2 to change its type if it's hit by a fighting move. It'll also have Psybeam, which may well get the stab bonus if the conversion makes it a psychic type. This will be rounded out by Aerial Ace and Thunderbolt for some type variety.
This music, I don't know where I got this music
Pokemon,
from, but it's so good.
As you may have noticed, she specialises in man-made Pokemon. Her next Pokemon will be a cast form, which will have Sunny Day and Hail, both to capitalise on its ability and the latter for chip damage. It'll use Weather Ball because I think it's legally obligated to have a Weather Ball if it's a cast form.
Yeah,
And it'll round
put
out
cast
the
form
Solar
everywhere.
Beam to again capitalise on that Sunny Day and trip up the unaware. But you'll beat that, and Pixie will send out her final Pokemon, her favourite Pokemon, Porygon 2. Porygon 2 will have Zap Cannon, which combined with its Lock-On makes for a dangerous place to be. Its final 2 moves will be Conversion 2 to remove its weakness, and Recover to, well, recover. But you'll take it down, you will defeat Gym Leader Pixie. And after the battle, you're rewarded with the Cipher Badge, which bears striking resemblance to the Caesar Cipher Wheel, which is used to decode the kind of code
Put a lot of
that you
thought
just
into this.
solved.
I got a very, very base
Pixie
idea from
congratulates you on
her.
your wins, both your battle victory and your mental victory, awarding you the TM for Protect. Not because she used it, but because it nicely represents her gym. She then returns to her seat, pulls out a laptop computer, and says how she must return to her work.
Laptop
You need smarter and
computer.
one badge
Am I
heavy.
90 years old?
So what do you think? Too high concept? Not high concept enough? Let me know in the comments. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see
wrong
more.
thing.
And I'll see you in the next one.
Let's move that
Love
over
you,
there.
bye.
Boom. So, I like this one. This is a good one. I'm a fan of this one. I'll put that back. I'm a fan of this one because it wasn't my idea. I had very little to go off of that. I had very little. It's so bad it's good to me because I think I didn't make these so well. My gym would be spherical Pokemon. Spherical Pokemon really is such a good idea for a gym, like for real. You can have Spheals, and then Ethan will never leave. It'd be great. I think I did one more of these with Zach's gym. Silphco controls the world.
Hello, Franz.
This is
you here.
maybe
Time
the
for
biggest
another
one
low-stakes
I did.
Theory, where we overthink tiny things in our favourite games.
This is a bit of a stretch.
And
This
I was
one.
watching you randomise Pokemon Ruby stream by Keldamist on Twitch. Link in the
Boom!
Instagram.
Shout-outs.
And the conversation turned to the economics of Pokemon. And I know I'm not the first person to talk about this. It's been covered in articles and videos by much larger channels. But I'm not trying to figure out how much a Pokédollar is worth or anything like that. No. What I want to know is how this whole thing works. How can every single town, big or small, have a system that heals your Pokemon, no questions asked? How can every trainer drop with half their cash every time we saunter in and knock out a Weedle? Gym leaders not only part with cash, but also a TM every time they're beaten, and those things aren't cheap. But gym leaders are funded by the Pokemon League, which raises a whole extra set of questions. Where did they get their
This is
money
like
from?
the first toe dip into like
I assume
anti-capitalist
gym leader
videos.
is a paid job, since it appears to be a full-time thing for most of the leaders in the games. And
And also this music's also about...
4 members, right? They are definitely full-time jobs. When Bruno isn't in his tiny little room beating people, what is he doing? He's training. Well, he's also tricking a kid to cook for him, but he's mostly training so he can beat trainers in his tiny little room. They must be getting paid from somewhere. And I think it's all down to one thing we all
Yeah, and the animation in
over,
this is...
one thing every trainer...
Okay, yeah, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop and go back to... No, where is it? Where was it? This thing. The auto caption's called Bruno Frodo. Yeah, I put Bruno Ketchum in his like LinkedIn profile page. There's a Toby video where he makes out that Bruno's Ash's dad, and this was just a little nice little call out to that. Somebody actually in the comments asked, Ayakara in the comments asked if that was like leading up to something. I'm like, no, somebody else already made that one. So
definitely
but
full-time jobs. When Bruno isn't in his tiny little room beating
when Frodo
people,
is not in his
what
tiny
is he
room,
doing?
he's going to Mordor.
He's training. Well, he's also tricking a kid to cook for him, but he's mostly training.
Gotta trick kids
so
to make
he can
soup.
beat trainers in his tiny little room.
Kids gotta learn to make
They
soup.
must be getting paid from somewhere. And I think it's all down to one thing we all look over. One thing every trainer uses. Every single
That's such a muddy animation. I
day.
could have done that so much better.
Pokeballs.
I could have done that so much better. That's such
Hold
a
on to your
crap
hats.
animation.
We're about to postulate. I'm
Couldn't
playing
just
on the
say-
assumption
couldn't
that
just say
you've already
opinion,
seen
just
Matsuni's
postulation.
timeline tweet link in the underground, in which the Kanto games and the Hoenn games are the first 2 games chronologically. Prior to those games, Sylph invented the Pokeball. Maybe Kurt did it, but I couldn't find proof of that anywhere. Either way,
Umbreon Libris, who I believe is in the chat, has made videos. I've made a video about how Bulbapedia needs to learn to cite its sources properly. This is my first run-in with that. Is like, Bulbapedia says Kurt invented Pokeballs, never backs it up. Never backs it up. Like, so when you made that video, I was like, yes, it's. They just sort of say. They say things and never back it up. And this is my first run-in with that.
Anywhere. Either way, Sylph invented it and it quickly spread.
Pokeballs
first
aren't
to
quite
Johto,
ancient.
then
Toby did a
Hoenn,
video on it
Sinnoh,
recently.
etc.,
I
until it was
edited
the
it.
norm. They
It's
had a
insane.
monopoly on the way that people caught Pokemon. And Pokemon are this world. They produce power, they're food, they're movers, they're how people live.
That's all you need, like power, food, and a way to move your house. That's all you need in life, right? You don't need anything more than that.
Sylph quickly grew into an incredibly huge company, extending their reach into medicines, TMs, other gadgets. They started
Such
opening shops
things.
to sell their products to consumers, allowing trainers to go on huge adventures without having to rely on the NHS-style government-run Pokemon centres. This culminated in them sponsoring
Again,
the
just
Indigo
throw that in there.
giving free TMs and Pokeballs to all of the leaders and the Elite Four. But why would they do that? Well, the more money that goes into the league, the more glamorous and successful the league and its people look. And the more glamorous the league looks,
Don't know why Bruno
the
just
more
popped in there.
trainers will embark on journeys. More journeys means more medicines, more Pokeballs, more money in Sylph-Co pockets. This spread and spread until Sylph were a dominant force in the world of Pokemon.
Love that little Forbes cover. I spent so long on that. That looks so good.
Sylph were Pokemon. Meanwhile, in Hoenn, the Devon Corporation were innovating. The patent for the Pokeball had expired, which meant that Devon could make their own things. And what they made were great. A whole new slew of Pokeballs flooded the market, all with different specializations. This happened shortly before the games, which is why they're so common throughout the Sylph-Co owned marts in Hoenn, which of course would pique the interest of Sylph-Co and its investors. After these
what's
games, we have
this?
Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Diamond Pearl happening concurrently. Diamond and Pearl introduce a new slew of Pokeballs with no clear inventor, but we'll get back to those later. Meanwhile, at Sylph-Co, the upper floors are out of order. I think this is because talks are happening between the Sylph-Co president and Mr. Stone, president of the Devon Corporation.
I don't know why you can't go upstairs in Silphco. Like, it's probably because, you know, it's an office block and you're not just allowed to wander in upstairs in an office block if you haven't saved the region. But yeah, sure. This is that. This will account for that.
Sylph were impressed at how Devon had
I'm a child. I was a child then and I'm a child now.
innovated the Pokeball. And I propose, in fact, the new balls from Diamond and Pearl were actually collaborations between Devon and Sylph to test the waters on a merger. 2 years later, by Pokemon Black and Pokemon White, the Devon-Sylph merger had gone through, and I'm going to call this conglomerate the DS Corporation.
I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of that.
By the fact that the Pokeball factory in Kalos produces Pokeballs made by Sylph and Devon. This newly merged DS Corporation further subsidized the Pokemon Center service and made their investment more apparent by putting the Pokemarts inside the Pokemon Centers. They then pressured Alola into a Pokemon League, having already established their marts and noticing the vibe of the island trials being reminiscent of the gym system they've come to know. Maybe at a later date we'll return to Alola and see a DS Corporation sponsored gym system. Only time can tell. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this.
So I still stand by this theory. I really, really like this one still. Like, it's a bit off the wall, and I don't think it will ever be brought up because a kid's game where you play as a child will never bring up the economy and, you know, major corporations merging. But I think it tracks. And I like this theory.
Low stakes fan theory. Please like and subscribe.
I think this might be one of my favourite old
all
videos.
that jazz, you know the good stuff.
This is, I think, is the best one I made on my own.
Hit up my socials if you want to get in touch. But for now, love you, bye.
You know why it's recommending me the CGP Grey video? Oh, hello, Datmega.
Hello, friends. Mew here.
This one,
it's Pride Month. A whole
I love
month
this one.
dedicated to
It's great.
celebrating the LGBTQ plus community. Rainbows are everywhere, and pride parades are making their way through cities around the world.
Remember when we could have pride parades? Remember when we could go outside?
But what's that got to do with Pokemon? Well, there's a character in the Sun and Moon games that I felt kinship with, that I related to in my interpretation of them on the LGBTQ plus spectrum. Let me explain. You may have noticed this channel contains a lot of three colours: purple, white, green. That's not just because of my love for the Riddler, my sweet trickster boy. They're actually the colours of the genderqueer flag, which refers to a gender identity existing outside the binary of male and female. Non-binary is a similar term. Give them a Google if you want to learn more. Anyway,
Could not
this
be
is
asked
my
to teach
identity.
at that
We
point.
didn't come here for that. There's a Pokemon character I believe shares this identity, and that is How.
I love how.
First, look at those
Love how.
clothes. Baggy shirt, baggy shorts. Baggy clothes in a tropical place such as Alola doesn't really make sense, but non-binary people often wear clothing that obscures their silhouette, giving them an androgynous figure that's hard to define at first glance. If How were assigned female at birth, they may be using their bagginess of the shirt to hide a chest binder to flatten their chest.
Thought this through.
Looking at How, let's have a look at the hair. How is rocking a lovely messy top knot, which, on its own, can either look androgynous or slightly male, depending on your interpretation. But artists have drawn what they think How would look like with their hair down,
I love that
which
picture.
looks a lot more
He's
feminine.
so
I think
good.
How has chosen
So
this
good.
hairstyle not only because they rock it very well, but because it allows them to express both a masculine and a feminine profile. I'm not going to touch on the shoes, because How? Really? Crocs? Honey, come on. Let's talk pronouns.
I don't have anything against
When I played
Crocs
through
anymore.
Moon, I noticed that 9 times out of 10, people didn't use a pronoun for How. They simply referred to them as How. Maybe How specifically asked people not to use pronouns, maybe this is a new development and
only
people
How.
are using their name to avoid slipping up. Both realistic and highly possible explanations.
I've never
only
actually worn
exception
Crocs.
to this is Halla, who refers to How as his grandson. Now, from my experience and talking to other people, grandparents slipping up with pronouns and names is a common experience, not only with LGBTQ plus people, but with everyone. How often has your grandparent accidentally called you by the wrong name? Heck, my mum confuses my name with my sister, her friends, even her cats sometimes. We've got to give Halla some leeway. Finally, their name. How. How is a Polynesian name coming from the Maori word for wind. This is, of course, important because Polynesia contains Hawaii, the basis for Alola. So Hao's name means wind, so what? Well, let's jump from Polynesia back to Japan, since it's not a huge stretch to think that a Japanese company would use some Japanese philosophy in their naming. In Japanese philosophy, the 5 elements all represent something, and wind represents freedom. Freedom for Hao to be whoever Hao wants to be.
Big brain think.
Freedom from binaries. Freedom for Hao to be Hao.
Big brain think.
Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed
That was
this
like,
video. Please give it a like if you did.
I had the idea and then just like
as always,
hunted for
love you,
anything that might help prove the point. Like, it was just so much like, it was the wrong, that is the wrong way to research, because I came up with a conclusion and then found evidence that backed me up. But yeah, I really want that to be true too. Like, another nice piece of evidence that did not exist when that video came out: the Sun Moon anime has a non-binary voice actor for Hao, and if that isn't just the final chip in the pile, I don't know what is. Fucking canon.
Hello, Franz, Mew here. Time for another load.
I finally started sounding exciting in my videos. I started sounding like I want to be there. That's a nice improvement.
Stakes theory, in which we overthink tiny things in our favourite games.
English, I believe it's the English dub. I might be wrong.
And today we're talking about Rotom. And no, I'm not going to retread old ground and talk about how Shuppet is just a Rotom in a Reaper cloth. No. As far as I'm concerned, that is fact. But I want to go to the other end of the timeline. Where did Rotom come from? It's a ghost type, so it stands to reason that it was something before it, well, died and became a ghost. And I think it was under our nose the entire time.
It was our mouth. Rotom was our mouth. Doesn't matter if how it's canonically non-binary or not. Oh yeah, like I don't care if it's like, I don't care if something's canon. I care if it makes sense. Shuppet is Rotom is like Shuppet is Rotom. That's like a popular fan theory. There are videos about it, but yes, Rotom is right under our nose. Rotom is our mouth or mustache if you have one.
Look at it. Small, round Pokemon with a smile and a pointy top. It's 0.3 meters tall. It has different forms where it changes type, specifically fire, water, and ice, among other things.
Among other
things. What else could it be but one of my favorite Pokemon? Cast form. I mean, from a purely aesthetic standpoint, look at the two of them side by side. Like I said, they're both small, 0.3 meters to be exact. Their faces are similar, more so in my opinion than Rotom and Shuppet. They have identical smiles and kinda similar eyes. But
their eyes look nothing alike. I don't know why I said that. Their eyes are not at all the same. I don't know why I brought up the eyes.
Both are predominantly round heads with horn-like spikes atop them. The key difference, apart from all the plasma, is that Rotom appears to have lost one of its, hydrogen molecules. Yeah, hydrogen molecules when it dies.
Said it with conviction so it counts.
Rotom's weight is 0.3 kilos, whereas Cast form weighs 0.8. This can be explained pretty easily when you think about what they are. Cast form is a cloud, and Rotom is plasma.
You know how hard it was to find a pictorial representation of plasma? That was the most difficult part of this video. Not like all the science I did.
Clouds are pretty dense, with the average cumulus cloud weighing 1 million pounds. Whereas plasma is not, it's basically a gas, and it weighs, well, conveniently, 0.3 kilos per cubic meter. Kudos for looking that up, Game Freak. I mean, Rotom is only a third of that size, but whatever, half a point. So Cast form is a cloud, Rotom is plasma. Can one turn into the other? Short answer, yes. Plasma is simply ionized gas, and ionization happens when a high amount of energy gets pumped into a gas.
I have no idea what any of that means. Please don't ask me what any of that means. I don't science.
But clouds aren't gas, I hear you cry. Well, I never said they were. Hold your horses, let me explain. Clouds are made up of water droplets. When hit by something of a high enough temperature, those droplets would evaporate into gas. Then, when the gas is hit by something with high enough energy to ionize...
I can't explain clouds to you.
What could possibly have that much power and that much heat? How about a bolt of lightning? A bolt of lightning is certainly hot enough, as lightning can reach temperatures of nearly 30,000 degrees Celsius. That is 3 times the surface of the sun. And as far as energy goes, we all know there's 1.21 gigawatts of
Hello,
energy in a lightning
hello,
bolt.
Daniel Zymox. Lot of power in a bolt of lightning.
But unfortunately, Doc Brown, that's not the measurement we need, but thanks anyway. There's approximately 1 million joules of energy in a single strike of lightning, and it takes this ridiculously small number to ionize a single hydrogen atom. That is 2.18 times 10 to the negative 18th power.
Yeah, again,
pretty sure
don't really know what that means. I don't do
I'm
maths.
sure an entire lightning strike would be able to ionize a poor little cast form in that case. Hi, Future Mew here, doing the edit, wanted to do a little bit more science for you. The bolt of lightning will be able to ionize the cast form, provided the cast form has 4.58 times 10 to the 23rd power molecules or less of water, which I believe it does because cumulus clouds, which is what it's based on, only have half a gram of water in them per cubic meter. And as cast form is only about a third of a meter, I'm gonna assume that's a third of a meter cubed, that is only 1/6 of a gram of water. 1/6 of a gram of water is 586,184 molecules of water, so the bolt has more than enough energy to ionize the entire cast form. That's not just an assumption anymore, that is science and math fact.
None of that was necessary. Like, it's just, I'm gonna bamboozle you with numbers until you think I'm right.
Anyway, returning back to me from the past. And there's lore to back it up too. Cast form was created in the Weather Institute in Hoenn, a famously stormy area. And if an innocent little cast form were to get struck by lightning and ionize, it would make sense that it got the electric typing given its cause of death. Well, there you have it. A rotom is just a cast form that got struck by lightning. What do you think? Please like this video if you
Again,
want, subscribe
I'm not
if
a
you
huge
want to see more, leave a comment.
I'm not like a
and all
huge detractor of
jazz.
that video.
As always,
like this,
love you, bye.
there's science there. I don't hate that. Like, the eye's different, but I don't hate it. Most of these theories I stand by.
Hello, Franz, Mew here, and what if I designed gyms? We've already been over the issue of me not coming up with very cool gym ideas myself, but my partner came up with a very weird but very cool idea for a dark type gym, which would be a first in the series.
Not anymore, but hey.
So, Franz, without further ado, let me introduce you to Jackson's dark type gym. Somewhere around mid-game, perhaps level 20, 25, maybe 30, you find yourself in a village with a big empty field surrounded by a chain link fence on the inside. You see a sign that reads Dog Park on the side of the fence, but as you talk to NPCs around the village, not one of them mentions this park. So you do your main character thing and try to enter it. As you enter, you see figures that did not appear as you looked through the chain link fence. You attempt to talk to one of these figures, but alas, they turn their back and you get a text box that reads, "You are being ignored." So,
Silent
you
text
leave.
box.
On your travels, you enter the local Pokemart to resupply, and you see an item at the bottom of the list, a dog treat. Curiosity results in you purchasing it, which after you return to the gym, you approach the same figure and the text box changes. It reads, "Sniff sniff." The trainer turns around and battles you. He sends out a Hound Hour, which of course you quickly deal with.
This is like
You wander the park and see
Silent
one of the
Hill,
figures
Welcome
looking
to
away
Night
from you, but
Valley
this time,
stuff.
they look directly into a mirror. This, of course, locks eyes with you, and they challenge you to a battle after muttering something indistinguishable. They send out a Poochyena and an Umbreon, which of course you again quickly deal with. Then, after wandering around the gym, you come across a third trainer blocking the only path between you and a familiar-looking gym leader's plinth. You wander off the path to find a ball. Interacting with the ball causes the figure to follow you, allowing you to sneak through the passageway between the trees. However, they turn around by the time you get there, resulting in your penultimate battle. The final trainer sends out a Zorrower. The theme of this gym, if you haven't guessed yet, is canines. But you finally get to
Could
the
not have
leader,
just
you
said
step on
dogs.
the space
Could not
between
have
the
just said
trees that
dogs.
used to inhabit the trainer, and the plinth spins around and you are confronted with gym leader Jackson. He approaches you and speaks.
Nobody ever comes into the dog park.
I do such a good Zach
Many
impression.
choose to deny we exist. You did not. That was wise.
I don't know why it's
And
spooky.
he
I don't know why
challenges
it's
you.
really spooky. There's no real need for
Jackson
it to be
sends out his
spooky.
first Pokemon, a Houndoom. This Houndoom will know Snarl and Bite because it's a dark-type dog, and also Fire Fang for stab and Thunder Fang for some type coverage. After this, Jackson sends out his second Pokemon, Mightyena. Mightyena will have a similar move.
I know a mighty hyena is based on a hyena and therefore is closely related to cats, not dogs. But fucking look at it, it's a dog.
Set of
Fucking
snarl and
dog.
bite, but Ice Fang this time just to trip you up a little bit more and Swagger to mess with you. But you swagger on past this mighty hyena and onto his
Definitely
third
dog.
Pokemon, Absol. Absol, of course, has the Snarl, but Night Slash instead of Bite this time to utilize its Super Lucky ability. It'll round this off with Taunt and Torment to try and limit your move usage and just to, be annoying. The final Pokemon, Umbreon, will be a little bit different to the other Pokemon and will use its defenses to try and stall you out with Baby Doll Eyes, Confuse Ray, and Moonlight to drag the battle out as long as possible. Finally, it will jump in with its last resort to finish off its prey because, hey, gym leaders are allowed to use the move tutor as well. This aims to be similar to Norman's Slacking, Whitney's Miltank, i.e. unnecessarily difficult. A 140 power move at that level ain't gonna be a cakewalk.
I don't know how hard that would be in reality,
Umbreon and the
but
rest of
it
Jackson's team, and
sounds
he
like
nods
it'd be
sagely,
hard.
handing you the questionable badge, which looks unlike any badge you've ever seen, leading you to question not only the existence of the dog park, but its validity as a gym. But with that doubt in mind, you
It's a
exit,
dark type
not
gym.
before being given
It's
the
a dark
TM
type
for
gym.
Snarl. So what do you think? Please give this video a like, subscribe if you want to see more, buy me and Jackson a coffee if you really liked it, and as always, love you, bye.
Daniel Zymox, thank you for binging my new videos. Now come binge my old videos with me. Glad you're here. No, that's no bad video. This is a new video. We want bad old videos. Bad YouTube. Right, we want subtitles on, please. There we go.
Hello, Franz, Mew here, and I love
What is that? Franz Musier? That's not what I
Pokemon
said.
challenge runs. I think they're great. A brand new way to enjoy an old beloved game, wacky self-imposed rules, perfect. My only issue is that the majority of Pokemon challenge runs appear to be Nuzlocke based. And I don't know what it is about Nuzlocke runs.
That's the original
just
Nuzlocke.
don't do it for me.
I don't quite know
I've
what
tried
it
running one
means.
over on my Twitch channel, that's twitch.tv/BrettMWXYZ.
No, it's not.
and I
That's not the
quickly
channel.
grew bored of the struggle. Maybe it's because I secretly suck at Pokemon? Probably. But nonetheless, I decided to create my own challenge run, which I christened the Pokemon Rubbish Run.
I liked making the logo. The logo was one web capture makes mistakes for death. Oh,
reasons that
that's
we
not
made clear
good.
pretty soon. Now,
Especially not with my
unfortunately,
accent.
this
That
one
trip
cannot
up
be
that
done
all
on
the
a
time.
proper cartridge, since it requires a randomizer. But apart from that, it's pretty simple. All you gotta do is change your starter to a Trubbish and randomize every wild encounter. Optionally, you can randomize trainers and gym leaders too. That's up to you. I did, and it's tons of fun. But anyway,
Love
that's
a
all the
randomizer.
setup
Love a
required
randomizer.
to play. Now, the gameplay. You are playing as a cleaner, a bin man, a rubbish collector, something along those lines. And that is the main influence.
Trubbish is a great
of the
Pokemon.
two
You should have
key
Ethan.
rules. Rule number 1. You can't leave trash out in the streets. If you spot an item on the screen, you must immediately go and get it. If you need a HM to get the item, you must go as far as you can towards it before carrying on with your main mission. Simple, right?
I know,
Number 2.
but I will defend
You may
Trubbish.
only catch Pokemon that fit into one of two groups. The first group is the active pollutants, coughings, mucks, trubbishes, the trifecta of pollution. The second is inanimate and man-made objects, which are interpreted as being trash left out in the open. This can cause
No fly
debate
tipping.
in the Twitch
No
chat
fly
as it
tipping.
has mine. Does a Regirock count? It's a rock golem, which is the thing people used to make, but it's also made of rocks, which are naturally occurring things. What about a Metagross? It's a big supercomputer Pokemon, but it doesn't really look like a computer. It's just a big metal monster.
I argued that Matang didn't count, and then Matang ended up counting, and I'm glad Matang counted because it's a pseudo-legendary, I kind of needed it. But I still argue that Matang doesn't count.
Porygon was another contentious encounter. It's a man-made Pokemon, sure. It states pretty clearly in the Pokedex, but it's not exactly an object. It's a program, or something along those lines. Heck, some could argue even a Meowth is allowed, since it's based on a Maneki Neko. All these encounters
No,
always
that's
spark
bullshit.
discussions in
That
the
won't
Twitch chat,
count.
which makes this run excellent for streaming. I've been running a rubbish run over on my channel in Pokemon Black. We've been having a whale of a time. Once again, links in the underground.
I might do another one of
So
these.
what do you
This
think?
was
Any
fun, and I
improvements on the
never
rule set?
I never
Any other
finished
thoughts?
it.
Leave them in a comment down
So I
below.
might
Hit
go
up my
back and
socials
I
on
might
the
come back
screen
and
or in
do
the
one of
underground.
these.
Please like this video
It was a
if you did,
good
subscribe
run.
If you want to see more, and as always, love you, bye.
Start with a trash bag, no fly tipping. It's a solid rule set, but I don't know, I got bored of it. I get bored of things. I had so many projects.
Hello Franz, Mew here, and today I'm going to introduce you a new series in which I create an Elite Four around a specific theme.
This new series ran for exactly 2 episodes and then I got bored. Because like I was saying, I get bored of things.
The show isn't really named yet, but for the first episode, we're going to take a look at the Elite Four of podcast hosts. We're going to look at their teams, their chambers, how they reflect the people as a whole.
No, there's no Joe Rogan. Don't worry, there's no Joe Rogan.
For this Elite Four challenge, the first room you're going to enter is a chamber of pastel pinks and purples. There are pillows and blankets everywhere, and a little butterfly flits around the room, and the music in this chamber is this slow, dreamlike acoustic guitar. You approach a man who introduces himself as Dearest Scooter from the Sleep With Me podcast. Sleep With Me is a podcast where Scooter tells silly bedtime stories in which his aim is to put you to sleep. And when you come across his chamber, his
It's the only
signature
reason I
creaky,
can sleep.
dulcet tones challenge you to a battle. Now, I'm less inclined to give these Elite Four members specific typing since they're themed to their shows and the people themselves, and also there are certain canon Elite Four members that break their own typing.
Not a lovemaking
But
gym,
just so
it is a
happens that
sleepy
Scooter's
gym.
Pokemon are mostly normal type, apart from this one, Hypno. Hypno, of course, a Pokemon who's well known for putting people to sleep. This will be followed by Slacking, whose true ability represents the unhappiness after waking up in the middle of the night. Following Slacking is, of course, Snorlax, the original sleepy Pokemon, whose abuse of rest properly represents Scooter's goal of making you feel refreshed after a nice sleep. This is followed by a Kamala, whose comatose ability allows it to sleep comfortably so long as it has its log pillow. This mirrors the ability of the listener to sleep so long as they have Scooter lulling them there. Finally, the last Pokemon on Scooter's team is a Togekiss, who not only represents the wings of consciousness that Scooter often mentions, its also association with peace is emphasized in the intro to Scooter's show. The second
If you've
member of
never
the
listened to
podcast
that,
Elite Four will
then
be a
that'll
little bit
mean
different.
this means
You
nothing
enter
to
a
you.
red and blue coloured room where not one but 3 people stand before you. They will introduce themselves as the McElroy brothers, who each possess 2 Pokemon on this team. Justin, Travis, and Griffin will make some of their signature good goofs as they challenge you, and they definitely won't have a specific typing, as Griffin has already expressed his distaste for that.
Fire type? Could you do
Fire
a
based?
type? Maybe
Yeah,
a fire,
I'll probably
like, have
just.
fires?
That's a good idea, Justin. I'll probably just do a fire type one, so that one kid with 1 Blastoise can fuck up my whole shop. Killed
Left
all
foot,
of us with 1 Blastoise, huh? Wow, shit. I should have.
Just do rock then. Just do rock type.
The same Blastoise.
We love some
Let's start
macaroni.
out with Rapidash, as horses are a long-running joke on their first show, My Brother and Me. Its Rapidash will also be shiny to represent Travis's signature purple quiff. After this, they'll send out Griffin's Nidoking, Jean Ralphio, from his Nuzlocke Y series. Then they'll send out an Aegislash, which will represent the raging, flaming, poisonous Sword of Doom from the Adventure Zone. This will be followed by
Back when
Justin's
there was
first
one
Pokemon,
Adventure Zone.
a Reuniclus? I always called it Reunculus. This represents his show Sawbones, a medical podcast. Reuniclus is the fully evolved form of Solosis, a Pokemon that most of the Doctor classes have in the game. Of course, Justin's other Pokemon is a Banette, as it's a perfect representation of the Haunted Doll Watch. This leaves Griffin's last Pokemon, which will be a Blissey, who represents bliss or happiness, which is perfect for his show Wonderful.
And also the Blister Light bit that he used to do. There's a lot of McElroy
The third
fans
chamber
here.
is black with white grid lines and 1 yellow square amongst them, in which stands Roman Mars, the 3rd member of the podcast Elite Four. Roman Mars is famous
Third,
for hosting 99%
fifth, maybe?
Invisible, a show about unnoticed design. Once again, his team will attempt to replicate the show rather than follow a strict typing theme. First, he'll have a Smeargle, a Pokemon dedicated to artistry, as his show is dedicated to the artistry around us.
This
Then send out
this is a
Conkeldurr,
really
Pokemon
really
based on
specific
construction
video. Like
workers,
it's
which
basically
represents
just
99
my
years' work on
podcast that I
cities and
listen to.
infrastructure. After that, he'll send out a chat art to represent the episodes of the show about sounds that are all around us. To represent the technology-based
They're
episodes
good-
of
they're good
1990s
shows, though.
Invisible, who
They're
better
solid shows.
than a Porygon, commonly believed to be the first artificially designed Pokemon. Then finally, we have a Kecleon, a literally 99% invisible Pokemon that can camouflage itself to hide. Finally, to top off our Elite Four of podcasters, we have the one and only Kevin Smith, host of a whole bunch of podcasts on the Smodcast network. His chamber is green and smoky.
As the host of Fat
It's
Man
a-
on
it's-
Batman,
it's a
he'll start
weed
out with
chamber.
a Noivern. Then he'll send out a Walreen to hearken to his movie Tusk, which was developed through an episode of Smodcast. Next up, we'll have a Tropius, for obvious reasons. Kev will follow this up with an Alakazam, since his vast intellect represents his podcast Edumacation. And finally, Kev will send out a Sableye, which is the closest Pokemon I could find to the Jersey Devil, which is a legend from Kevin Smith's home
Tusk,
state
if
and the
you've-
mascot of his preferred
If you've
hockey
not
team.
seen Tusk,
So, the Elite Four of podcasting.
Tusk is
what do
a-
you
Tusk
think?
is an
Let me know in the
experience.
comment down below or hit up my socials if you have an idea for a
there
different
was
member of the Elite.
there was just no attempt at an outro of that video. Like, I went just so deep into just my own nerd shit that there was no attempt to save that.
Let
Beautiful.
me know if you have an idea for a different theme.
And yeah,
let me
watch
know.
Tusk. Watch
And as
Tusk.
always, love you, bye.
I do another one of these. The next one is a bit more general. It's the Elite Four of the Apocalypse, which I like still stand by. This is a neat idea.
Thanks to a super cool viewer suggestion from my last Elite Four
Of course,
video, I'm gonna tackle the Elite
Sarius,
Four
who like
of
just
the
pops up everywhere.
Apocalypse. We're gonna take a look at the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and figure out what teams they would have if
Again,
they
with the music being too
were
loud,
the
it's
Elite
always
Four.
too loud.
Fun
Can
fact,
never
did you know
music
that
mix
Pestilence
properly.
wasn't one of the original 4 horsemen, and instead the fourth horseman was called Conquest? Did you also know that it only said that so I could use this as a transition?
Love that
You went to
song.
the first chamber.
Kai does have
It
good ideas.
Stinks. There are noxious green and purple clouds floating through the room, flies surrounding everything, and a tall, thin figure in a black cloak and a plague doctor's mask approaches you. Wordlessly, they challenge you, quick to get this over with before the fumes get to you. They send out an aromatisse, which sounds odd at first glance, but it is based on the plague doctors of old.
No, it isn't. I'm pretty sure it isn't. I'm pretty sure that's just coincidence that it looks like that.
This will be followed by a far more predictable choice, Wheezing. After this is Toxapex, a Pokemon confirmed to leave permanent after effects to anyone hit by its poison. Once you've taken out Toxapex, you'll be greeted by Yanmega, the evolved form of Yanma, obviously, who was rumoured to be the only way to get Pokerus in Gold and Silver.
I think I completely made that up. I think I read that on like GameWinners.com when I was 9 years old and just internalized it. Because that's I couldn't find any justification for that, any proof that that was a thing, and I think I just made that up. I think somebody made that up. I read it and took it as fact.
Finally, there'll be an Amoongus, because disease and fungus very linked, with one causing a myriad of the other. You beat Pestilence and he'll usher you through to the next room before you faint. The next room isn't much better. It's not hard to breathe, but it's hard to look at. Barren wastelands, fruitless, leafless trees, Pokemon skeletons being picked clean by Mandibuzz, and a human, an elderly, emaciated man in a chair. By the look of his terrifyingly thin legs, this chair is not for comfort. He mutters something and battles you, predictably sending out a Mandibuzz first, followed by a Swalot. A Stomach and a Scavenger both make plenty of sense for Famine's first Pokemon. Then a Farfetch'd, a Pokemon who teases you by attacking with a vegetable it beautifully pairs with when eaten together.
I really
This
like
is
the imagery
followed
on that
by
one,
an
and I got to
Alolan
use a Farfetch'd,
Pokemon
which
whose
is
eating
good.
habits have morphed it into a creature some consider hideous, myself not included. Finally, Famine will send out a Mega Slowbro, a Pokemon that is being eaten by its own tail, another warning against eating. You take down Famine and he motions you into the next room. And a battlefield greets you, with fallen soldiers on both sides, discarded weapons scattering the room from all eras, from the ancient to the modern. A well-groomed man in a sharp suit stands before you.
It's totally,
He tells you he is a weapons
definitely Tony
manufacturer,
Stark.
and he survives so long
It's
as
just
the
Tony
wars keep
Stark.
happening.
I don't even try
He
and hide
waxes
that.
lyrical for a while about how beautiful the modern weapon is, then battles you. He starts out with an Escavalier, a Pokemon that of course looks like a knight. This is followed by a knight's best weapon, an Aegislash. Then after this he sends out an
Don't know why the
artillery
top's cut
based
off
on
there.
modern artillery, and a Vikavolt based on a railgun. 2 from Ancient Wars, 2 from Modern Wars. This was almost a double battle, but there's only one of him and only one of you, so I figured a single battle.
Am I doing alright?
Once all his
I'm
weapons
doing
have been
alright.
dealt with,
I'm
he'll
doing
send
fine.
out a Primeape, a Pokemon who's almost perpetually angry and quick to attack.
It was a good idea, so I lent
Bow
into
graciously
the mood of it.
telling you you'll make a fine warmonger as you ushered into the next room. The next room is a graveyard. Literally, graves litter the room, and as you would imagine, death greets you. Death isn't quite the skeleton in a cloak that you're used to, but more a cloud, a shade that simply takes that vague figure.
I like that idea of death just looking like that.
Death will send out a
just vaguely in that shape.
As it's based on the ancient sarcophagus, naturally. It'll follow that up with a Spiritomb, which is based on the story of 108 lost souls. After this, a Shedinja graces the battlefield with
this, of course, makes death the best one.
Basically dead. It's an empty husk. Once you've found the Shedinja's weakness, a Trevenant enters the phrase. It's based on the Kodama, a spirit that has possessed an aging tree. And finally, a Mega Absol, a Pokemon known for causing disasters which tend to cause deaths. Once you've taken down Death, his form simply vanishes, allowing you passage to face the champion. So, the Elite Four of the Apocalypse. What do you think? Leave a comment if you want to tune in. Give this video a like if you liked it.
That one's better than the other one.
More, and as always, love you, bye.
And I'm not even going to mention who the champion might be. I think that is the champion like the Antichrist? Is the champion just the end of the world? Who would the champion be in that? Like, what would the Antichrist even battle? Or would just like the apocalypse would happen? Primordial chaos. There we go. Yes. Nailed it.
Hello, Franz Mew here. Time for another low-stakes theory where we overthink tiny
Now this is another one that was born in a stream.
Let's talk Pokemon Black and White.
The best
games,
ones.
beautiful regions, great selections of Pokemon. I've been streaming my Pokemon Rubbish Run in Pokemon Black on my Twitch channel, and something struck not only me, but the Twitch chat audience as well. Clay's Gym. It is a lift-based puzzle that concludes in a central lift descending down to Clay. It descends and descends and wow, Clay's Gym is really deep in the earth. Wait, are those fossils and like gemstones? Dang, how deep is this gym? Well, let's work that out. How far does the central lift travel?
Let's just do some fucking math. Okay, yeah, lies. Black and White aren't the best one. Sword and Shield are the best one.
Vale Gym. The way I'm going to figure this out is simple. First, figure out how tall Hilbert is. That's the name of the main character. Figure out how tall he is in canon. Then, using game theory's patented pixel measurements, we can use that as a guide to figure out how long it takes the lift to travel that far. Then from there, we can use that multiplied by the total time the lift takes to figure out exactly how far the lift goes. Simple, I think. Right, let's get cracking. The first question
that didn't make sense. How tall that explanation didn't make sense.
We're going to figure out how old Hilbert is. That one is totally
so you know an age ruler. Age ruler.
How old is Hilbert?
Hilbert.
Boom. There. He's 14. Thank you, Bulbapedia. Now we have his
Bullwhipedia. These subtitles are real naff.
Do an average measurement for a 14-year-old boy. Again, very, very Googleable. 5 foot 4.5 inches, so 163.8 centimeters in metric. So this little sprite here is 168 centimeters, there or thereabouts. That's this big. And if we take this line at the start of this journey as a reference, which is approximately 2.5 Hilberts from the top of the screen, that's about 4 meters. It takes 10 milliseconds from the lift starting to move to that line going off screen. So that is 4 meters in 10 milliseconds. That means in 1 second, this platform moves 40 meters. That translates to about 90 miles an hour.
I hope all this maths is legit, because it's very easy for me to do bad math.
Which is in a very tall building in Taiwan. That travels at 37.7 miles per hour. So this is a speedy little lift. It takes just over 7 seconds for this lift to complete its journey the second time around when it doesn't have to stop for the big gate to open. That means that this lift travels 280 meters into the
very
earth.
Deep. Very, very deep.
That is almost the height of the Shard. You know that big triangle, slightly cheese grater looking building in London? And while we're in London...
That's a Pokemon now. It all comes back around.
The deepest London Underground station is 58 metres underground. That's Hampstead. This is almost 5 times deeper than that. And while we're talking about deep, let's talk temperature, because as you dig into the Earth, you get closer and closer to the centre. You know, that big old ball of magma? So naturally things tend to get hotter, and for the first 100 kilometres deep, it increases at a rate of about 30 degrees Celsius per kilometre. So when clay is 280 metres deep, his room is 8.4 degrees hotter than the surface. In the middle of summer, if we take the New York average temperature as a reference point, since Unova is based on New York, an average New York July has a high of 29 degrees Celsius. That means that Clay stands in his cowboy garb, so leather and denim, in a room that gets up to 37 degrees. And I don't think he has aircon down there.
I mean, there's a big fucking fan in the
That
background,
would
so...
be kind of a boring end for a video. Oh, it's 280 meters and Clay's a little bit uncomfortable. No, this video needs a third act. I've worked too hard. I've crunched too many numbers for this video.
I've crunched
not to have a
exactly
cool
4
third act.
numbers.
And that third act is a little word called acceleration. Because this lift accelerates from a standstill.
There's a lot of mouth noises in this
40
video. There's a lot of...
per second, almost.
And I don't know why I didn't
instantly.
cut them out.
If we go back to our 0.1 second time
I
measurement,
get really
that is
lazy
an
with the
acceleration of 400
the audio editing.
meters per second squared, or around 40 Gs. Now, the human body can withstand a certain amount of Gs while standing up, like Hilbert is. That number? 5. 5 measly Gs.
4 is
Trained
3 too many
pilots
numbers.
can withstand 9 Gs. Exposure to a high amount of G-force can result in a few things. Let me list them for you now. Thank you, Wikipedia. First one is something called grey out, in which the vision loses hue, things get black and white, but that's easily reversible once you've leveled out your G-forces. Go the other way, and you get something called red out, where your eyes fill with blood because blood has rushed to your head.
I remember Googling that. It's
You don't
nasty.
want to go really either way on that. The next worst thing is something called tunnel vision, where your peripheral vision is slowly lost until you can only see what's right in front of you. Again, not too bad. You get off the lift, it levels out, it's all well and good. Third thing is something called blackout, where you get complete loss of vision. You're still conscious, but you completely lose vision because there's no blood
Except
in
for
your
this bit
head.
down here, because I can't fucking
The next
angle
thing
it.
down,
black
G-force
screen, right?
induced loss of consciousness. And finally,
Block.
bottom of the list, most severe thing. Yes, you guessed it, death. No thank you, Clay. You can keep your death lift to yourself. I'm going back to Nimbasa City. I'm gonna put on a musical. I'm gonna get on a Ferris wheel with a hiker. It's gonna be awkward, but at least I'll be alive. No more gym challenge for me.
Clay's gym is
I'm
deadly.
75% sure
love
this
that.
math is all correct, but if I'm wrong, I'm a video maker. I'm not a mathematician. Leave a comment down below and let me know if I've got anything wrong.
Like,
hit up my socials.
this is
if you
not
wanna
a theory,
embarrass me
it's
publicly.
just-
Then if you really liked this
it's
video,
just,
buy me a coffee. All
maths.
those links in the underground. And if you buy me
just
a
maths.
coffee in the month of August, you will receive an MP3 of me dramatically reading the Chuck Tingle Pokemon Go story, and that is a doozy.
That was it's a good
And-
story. Good story.
As always, love you, bye.
Again, that was just math. There's not really a theory there, it's just math. And yeah, the Chuck Tingle Pokemon Go story, Pokebook Go, founded in the book by something. Solid one, solid book.
Tiny things in our favorite games. And today we're
This one, I will fully admit, is not original. I wanted to stick to a video a week, and sort of half read this theory somewhere else and made a video out of it.
delving once again into the origins
Am I a
of
thief?
Pokemon.
Maybe.
The origins of Rotom was one of my favourite videos to make, so I thought I might dip my toe into these waters once again. And today we're turning our low-stakes lens onto everybody's favourite space legendary, Deoxys. Sorry if you thought this was going to be about Jirachi. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe next time? I don't know.
There's nothing
Anyway.
fun about Jirachi.
Deoxys. According to the Pokedex, the DNA of a space virus underwent a sudden mutation upon exposure to a laser beam and resulted in Deoxys.
That's such technobabble
Dex
nonsense.
entry
I love
speaking of
that. I
DNA
love
coming
that
to life
Dex
on
entry.
Meteor, and there's the crystalline
I haven't seen the
orb
new
on this
Mimikyu.
Pokemon's
Send me links to
chest
this new
that appears to be
Mimikyu.
its brain. That's all well and good, but there's
Send
some
me links to this new
vagueness in there.
Mimikyu.
When I see vagueness, I have to figure it out. What exactly is this space virus? I don't think
Space
mean a
virus.
virus in the strictest sense.
Right, hold up. We need to together. We need to look at it. Oh, look at it. Oh, it's got a little mask and a cape. Oh, it's incredible. That's very good. Thank you for that. It's very good.
No, like a cold or something, but more likely something along the lines of an invader that replicates itself on arrival, much like a computer virus. So
I don't think that's how computer viruses work either.
Then
I don't know a lot about this. I don't know a lot about any of this.
Some semblance to a Deoxys.
It
What
came
about
from
Starmie?
space.
Well, let's look at some facts. First off, purely design-wise, they both shoot beams from their central gemstone, both have spiky bodies. Granted, that's not a lot to go off of, but bear with me. Starmie's Pokedex not only states that it also comes from space, but tries to communicate back to space using its gem core. Combine that with how readily available it is, starting from Kanto, and we can deduce that it fell from space a while ago, then reproduced and became commonplace. Sound familiar? Both Pokemon Starmie and Deoxys are even Psychic type, and Starmie's water typing can be the result of them landing in the ocean and having to adapt to their atmosphere. It's not a ridiculous concept for a regular Pokemon to mutate into something legendary. I mean, Carbink and Diancie? But this raises one question: why doesn't the Pokedex simply state that a Deoxys is a mutated Starmie? Well, to answer that, we're going to briefly turn to the Pokemon Adventures manga, in which it was confirmed that
1. Manga. 2. Don't cross your
the
cannons.
space station
Don't do that.
is where the laser beaming happened, as a Proto-Deoxys is seen incubating in a cylinder in said station. And well, even if it was a Starmie aren't actually available to catch anywhere in Hoenn, and Staryu are very, very rare. There's only a 5% chance to catch one in one city.
Adventures is the best canon,
With
but
a
still.
super rod. The Pokedex states that it was DNA from the invader, not simply the invader itself. So if the chunk of space rock bore any resemblance to a Starmie, a group of Hoennian scientists may not have simply realized
Doesn't look like Starmie at all.
Especially with it being referred to as DNA, implying it was a minuscule chunk rather than the entire.
If the spoiler that I gave you was Deoxys exists in Hoenn, that's not a spoiler.
Gemstone or something.
Because it exists in Hoenn.
So, what do you think? Are Starmie and Deoxys related, or am I talking out of my ass? Let me know in the
Starmie and
comments below. Hit
Deoxys.
that
I don't
sub
buy
button
it.
if you
I
wanna
actually,
see more.
I
Like
don't
and
like
share
this.
with a friend if you
Do
really
not buy
loved
this
it.
video
As
at all.
always, love you, bye.
I do not buy this video. I'm not a fan of it. But again, I just kind of
Hello,
nicked
friends,
the
Lou
idea.
here. Time for another low-stakes theory where we overthink.
Oh, this is Clay's
tiny
gym again.
things In
This is a good video. This is a solid video. When it decides
Hello,
to play.
Franz Mew here, and today I'd like to do something a little bit different and talk about a Pokemon that people tend to not like. Pokemon that happen to be some of my favourite. The gimmick Pokemon. Pokemon that have unique abilities, moves, or battle styles that tend to get pushed aside by the Pokemon community. I mostly see their lackluster stats as reasons cited for this, but hey, Pokemon is about more than just competitive battling. So today I'm going to try and defend some of my favourite gimmick Pokemon, but before that, I think I'm going to need some help with this, so I am bringing in a friend.
Hey, I'm Umbreon Libris, and it feels really weird to say that as an intro. Anyway, gimmick Pokemon are also some
Special
of my
guest
favorites.
time.
If it weren't for these creative and unique creatures, Pokemon would be a lot less appealing to me. Not everything has to be competitive, right?
Of course, Pokemon is about way more than just battling. For example, take one of my favourite Pokemon, and possibly the most gimmicky Pokemon, Shedinja. Shedinja has a
We had to
Ghost has a unique ability.
we
Wunderguard,
basically
a
fought for
unique evolution
Shedinja
method.
because Shedinja's
It's
the best.
only Pokemon that loses its gender upon evolution. One of
We shouldn't-
two
we sh-
non-baby
we shouldn't
Pokemon
cross
that
our
change
cannons,
egg
but we
group
did
upon
anyway.
evolution. The only Pokemon with 1 HP, the only genderless Pokemon that can learn egg moves, the only Pokemon immune to bug, ice, steel, and fairy type moves. And the only Pokemon that can use Pain Split without losing any HP.
Solid
I told you it
Pokemon.
was pretty unique. And if that alone isn't enough to convince you that this is a super creative Pokemon, why don't we delve into its origins? It's based on a combination of 3 things: discarded insect husks, guardian angels, and the mythical Utsusemi technique. A technique in ninjutsu where the ninja replaces themselves with a decoy version to escape harm. It's basically a sentient, angelic version of the move Substitute. And that's pretty cool.
Is that not
isn't
cool
it?
as fuck? That's great.
And it's got some really cool, dark Pokedex entries, like this one.
A discarded bug shell that came to life. peering into the crack on its back is said to steal one's spirit.
Now that is tip-to-toe badass if you ask me, and battle-wise, Shedinja's ability, Wonder Guard, has some really neat side effects. For example, Foresight and Odor Sleuth do not remove Shedinja's immunity to fighting a normal type.
Good luck
like
punching
every
it.
Other ghost. It's the only Pokemon that's immune to every single one-hit KO move. It's also the only Pokemon immune to ground attacks when the move Gravity is used. And finally, if somebody uses Soak on a Shedinja, that Shedinja becomes immune to 16 of the 18 types. And if that doesn't convince you that Shedinja is more than just a side effect of a Ninjask, then perhaps I should move right along to Cast Form.
Before you do that, can I step in and talk about the Unknown? I've seen a lot of videos about them lately from YouTubers big and small, but I still think they get more hate than they deserve. I won't deny that they are one of the least competitive
And yes, Cast Form is great.
Pokemon out there. With a base stat total of 336, Levitate as their only ability, and Hidden Power as their only move, they're practically the definition of a one-trick pony. A lot of people in the community want Unknown to get some sort of buff. I've seen people suggesting special moves or abilities that would help the Unknown fare better in battle. But competitive prowess was never the point with Unknown. Think about its signature move, Hidden Power. Unknown only has hidden power, no overt, noticeable powers. It's meant to be useless. It even says so explicitly in the Pokedex. When alone, nothing happens. However, if there are two or more, an odd power is said to emerge. That odd power is clearly hidden power. I'm pretty sure the only reason a single Unknown can use hidden power is that you can't have a Pokemon that knows no moves. If anything, they should have been given an ability that prevents them from attacking unless there are other Unknown in the party. But on top
giving them a move like Beat Up that does more damage the more Pokemon there are in the party, but make it like it does more damage the more Unknown are in the party would be real cool, but that side.
The whole point of Unknown is the mystery about it. Most of its Pokedex entries talk about how little we know about them. In Crystal, you get a sort of side quest to collect all of the forms of Unknown, but it actually comes to nothing. That was definitely a little disappointing after all that build-up, but I'm certain that it was intentional. We're not supposed to know anything about them. Over the years, there have been hints throughout the games and movies about what their true role might be, but never any confirmation. That's why we see so many theories about them, that they're the fabric of reality, or Arceus' 1,000 arms, even computer code. And honestly, I hope we never get confirmation. I can't imagine the Unknown without their mystery.
Thank you, Umbreon Libris. You made a very, very good point, and I was having a bit of trouble writing a script to defend Unknown on my own back, so thank you for taking that off me. Anyway, back to Cast Form. I've mentioned Cast Form quite a few times on the channel, so it's no big surprise that I like this cute little guy. I mean, look at them. Every single form is just so happy.
Look at that one. Look at the water one.
What make Cast Form gimmicky.
Fucking adorable.
The unique ability Forecast changes their form with the weather, as the Pokedex states.
Temperature and weather affect its cellular structure, so this Pokemon changes form according to the weather.
I think had they continued to update Cast Form and given them forms based on sandstorms and different terrains, we could have had a seriously cool looking mon.
I want my grassy terrain
hate on Cast Form for having a less than stellar design. It is just a head, some boobs, and an anime hair flick. So what? But it's not just that. It both resembles a water molecule and a teru teru bozu, a Japanese ghost-like charm that can apparently control the weather. This Pokemon's design perfectly combines the science of weather and the traditions of weather around the culture of the Pokemon Company in Japan. Ain't that cool? Well,
good
mon,
solid
more gimmick Pokemon to cover and defend. We'll have to get to those in another episode, so please like this video if you did, click that subscribe button if you want to see more, share it with a friend if they hate one of these Pokemon. Many thanks to Umbreon Libris for defending Unknown in this video.
You should go and check out Umbreon Libris
over on his channel where we defend inanimate
You should go and do that.
Links, of course,
if anybody here isn't
as well as
Umbreon
my
Libris,
social
go do
medias
that.
on my Ko-fi page, and as always, love you, bye.
And then we did another one. Of course we did another one. Because there's way too many gimmicks.
Hello, everyone's new here, and welcome to part 2 of
Why am I recording in a cave? Why am I recording this one in a cave?
the series where we defend those
God, I have a face. Oh, this is a bad idea.
Pokemon. And I say because joining me in this episode once again is the wonderful Umbreon Libris.
Glad to be back. There are a lot of gimmick Pokemon, so I'm happy to help you defend some more of them.
So the first Pokemon I'd like to talk about is Spinder. Spinder's whole gimmick is that there are over 4 billion unique versions of the Spinder sprite, and you will never never come across two that are exactly the same. That's neat. I mean, the more you think about it, that means that Pokemon, every single other Pokemon, they all look exactly the same, which is a little bit strange, but whatever. Spinda's concept and ability are also very confusion-based, and it spends its life in a
Look at that really bad script read.
Dizziness,
Real terrible
by
script read.
opponent's attacks. Now, I've looked into the origins of this, and apart from koala bears eating eucalyptus, which makes them feel drunk, I can't find pandas that do spend their life in a perpetual stupor, but the koala eucalyptus leaf, that's a nice, fun little nod to reality.
I don't know why all the
Spinda is a novel Pokemon.
crunchiness.
Like I said, it's based purely on
The video
confusion stage, which
keeps
is something
like
we've
glitching,
never
and I don't
seen
know
before,
what.
or really
It must be a
ever
Sony Vegas thing.
since. Poison
Because
and
I was
Sleep
still
both
using
have their
Vegas to make
own
these.
Their own signature Pokemon with, of course, Mashana and Hypno taking care of the sleep aspect. And Poison, well, you've got a whole type of Pokemon that specialise on poisoning their opponents. The aforementioned design gimmick even factors into this, whereas if a new player sees two Spinda, for a second they're momentarily confused because of the slight differences. They may not realise they are the same Pokemon. I'm also
That's
led to
bullshit.
believe
Of course they would.
Spinda has a really good move pool for an assist and support role in underused doubles. It can learn Trick Room, it can learn Encore, it can learn Baton Pass, and a plethora of other really cool support moves that me, as a casual player, never really use. And even if that means just completely removing the confusion in its concept and in its design, that's still a good Pokemon's a good Pokemon. We can't argue that. I think Spinda, to be made better, I think Spinda is in need of an evolution. And I think a really cool way would be to make some sort of bear that's focused on the drunken boxing style of martial arts. I think that would increase its popularity tenfold. But anyway, enough about Spinda. Let's move on to Umbreon Libris, who is going to tackle one of their favourite Pokemon, Smeargle.
It's true, Smeargle holds a very special place in my heart. I caught a shiny one in Crystal way back when, and you know how shiny Pokemon can really make an impression.
Do you have any favorite Pokemon that you didn't catch as a shiny? Did you ever have a shiny? Because you got the shiny Umbreon, a shiny Smeargle. Did you ever get a shiny Shedinja? Or like, do you have other favorite Pokemon that aren't based around shinies?
But it's not just because of the shiny that I love Smeargle. First of all, look at this face.
Also, I don't know why I just did not edit this bit. I just completely brain farted on editing that,
so
and I hate it.
Dopey with a little tongue hanging out. Second, it's a beagle wearing a beret. It's practically a caricature of the pretentious artsy student. It's okay, I can say that I was one of them. Which brings me to yet another point about Smeargle. It's artsy, and it uses the paint it secretes from its tail to express itself, to literally make its mark in the world. Which I, as an artsy child myself, could relate to. And I know that there's lots of other artsy Pokemon fans out there that I'm sure had a similar experience. When it comes to battling, Smeargle's stats do leave it wanting. It's got abysmal offensive stats, very poor defenses, and its speed, its best stat, is a measly 75. But on the other hand, you can build pretty much any strategy you can think of with it. That's of course because of its signature move, Sketch, which allows it to learn almost
How hard
any
is it
move.
to actually build
Chariot and
a
Struggle are the only
Smeargle team?
Spore and Focus Punch, it can learn them. Lock on and a one-hit KO move. Those
Because you have to go find
Spore
somebody with
and
that move.
Transform? Yeah, also an option. Belly Drum and Baton Pass? It can learn those too. You could even teach it the signature moves of legendary Pokemon like Judgment. And because it gets moody as its hidden ability, a Smeargle running stored power.
Oh yeah,
could be
double battles would
really
help.
Scary. Smeargle is really not very viable competitively because of its stats, but for in-game use,
I hadn't even considered
you can do
double
whatever you
battles
want,
and then
and
using
you
it
gotta
on your
love
partner,
that.
but
Exactly. Smeargle is probably one of the most flexible and the most fun Pokemon to play as. But let's move on to another F word as we move on to our next Pokemon. No, I'm not talking about that F word. Or that one either. This is a child-friendly channel.
No,
What
it
I'm
isn't.
talking
Not
about is
anymore.
Festive, because we are talking about Delibird. A Pokemon based on Santa Claus, but also penguins, and well, it's awful. Its shiny form is okay, but a little uninspired. I would have liked to see like a darker red and black one to be inspired by like Krampus. Its move pool is abysmal. It learns Present at level 1, Drill Peck at level 25, and that is it. And Present, it's like move that they base the entire Pokemon around. 40% of the time has a base power that is
through the floor. And 20% of the time it heals the opponent. It is really bad. Even its hidden ability, Insomnia, is identical to one of its core abilities, Vital Spirit. I really set myself a challenge in defending this one, but its design is where I'm going to go. Because its design, as I said, is a little bit uninspired, but only from a Western perspective. It's based on Santa Claus. We are all familiar with Santa Claus. We've all been celebrating Christmas since we were in nappies. But in Japan, Christmas is a relatively new celebration, and Santa Claus is a novel character they've borrowed from Western folklore. It's still novel to the Japanese, just not novel to us. All the Pokemon that are based on yokai we believe are cool and unique, but in Japan they're old hat. They are legends they've heard for decades. Whereas
I like
Delibird
this
is the
bit.
same thing for us, just with the roles sort of reversed.
Like-
So in a way, Delibird is the same design-wise as, say, Frostlass or Shiftry. You know. Okay, guys, I tried defending Delibird, but sometimes this is really hard. But
It's a cool hat. I got a lot of cool hats. It's got a Luigi thing on the front, and I'm wearing it backwards because I'm
where I
terrible.
think I'm going to leave it for today. If you have any comments, please
Got a lot
leave
of
them
hats.
down below.
I have a lot of
While
hats
you're there,
to
please hit the
to
like
circle
and
through.
subscribe button. Oh, and click the link that leads towards Umbra and Libris' channel, either in the underground or up in the eye. I'm not sure what corner it's in yet. Big thanks to Umbra and Libris.
I never did put an eye. I always forget to put the eye cards
It's
in.
been a pleasure being here. If you haven't seen the collaboration we did over on my channel where we talk about inanimate object Pokemon, I'm sure Mew has put a link in the description or somewhere. And Mew, let's do this again sometime.
We certainly will.
And we never
Please
did.
check out Umbra and Libris' channel, like I said, up
We
in the eye
never
in the
did that
description.
again.
And as always,
There it is. There it is.
Goodbye.
I did put an eye card in. Well, I say we never did that again. We never did that again. We did work together again on the Pokemon video, which was really cool.
Hello, Franz.
Oh, what was that turn? Oh, just. Oh, it's such a bad turn. And look at my hair. Look at my awful hair.
In our favourite games, and I have been playing Pokemon Soul Silver for the first time. I know, very topical. Meltan, who's that? We're going to talk about Will.
It's just,
There's
it's
this theory
so
floating around the internet that Lorelei and Will are somehow related, or that they may in fact be the same.
Yeah, it's really. Oh, hi! Didn't see that. My worst favorite, my least favorite trope. Oh yes, we did the Gen Pokemon videos. I forgot about that because that's in like the current chapter of my channel.
Gender matches theirs, with a few exceptions. Lorelei has a 3/5 male team in her Fire Red rematch. Additionally,
You know what this music is?
all
What is this
female
music?
Team. Will is also referred to as female by the in-game data, which is probably related to the fact that his entire team is female. They also have both been shown to have purple and red hair, and they share the purple, red, and black colour scheme. They also both use Jinx and Slowbro, which
Again, the music's way
makes
too
sense
loud in
because
this.
They are psychic and ice type. It makes sense for them both to use both. But in Pokemon Stadium, Lorelei uses an Executor, and Will uses an Executor in his team. In their first appearances, they actually have very similar chambers, with Will's being more ice-like than Lorelei's. Every other Elite Four member had complete overhauls in their chambers, but Will's stayed oddly similar. So there's no denying that there is something going on between these two characters. If they were rivals or siblings, an NPC would have said it at one point. And speaking of NPCs, as this image says, in 5 Island there is a diary entry that notes that Lorelei has a surprising secret. Now the original poster of this posited that the surprising secret combined with the fact that when you re-battle Lorelei, her Pokemon switch from female to male. This is an indication that Lorelei is in fact transgender and transitions into Will, or at least they very heavily hint at that. I think there's a far easier explanation, and that is drag. I posit that Lorelei is in fact a drag king, and Will is the character that Lorelei portrays.
Quite like this video as well.
Stage. In case you didn't know, a drag king is the opposite
absolute
of a drag queen, whereas
wild
a drag queen's
theory.
character is an over-the-top female appearance. A drag king is an over-the-top male appearance.
That is like
Usually
super
don't
heavily
female.
simplified, but
Drag characters are usually
Makes sense.
over the top and dramatically dressed, with usually a theme drawing them all together, and that very accurately describes Will's
odd.
What's the auto brightness is terrible.
Piece of eyewear and brightly coloured hair. The eye mask has the advantage of hiding Lorelei's feminine facial structure. The male formal wear, which is very common amongst drag kings, also has the feature of hiding Lorelei's feminine body shape. This is a surprising secret because drag is not a massive thing in Asia, especially not in Japan. In fact, the first all drag king show since the Edo period took place in August of 2018. So I think in Game Freak's perspective, a Elite 4 member being a drag king does qualify as a surprising secret. So what do you think?
I don't hate this video. I don't hate the idea. I don't like how I look in this video, and I don't like that. Oh hi, I didn't see you there. Like just sort of from here. But
if you miss hearing my voice, check out my Twitch channel. It's a nice chilled time. We play Pokemon, we play Heart Flip, we're playing Paper Mario at the minute. It's all fun. Check out those links in the underground, and until next time,
this is the
love you, bye.
When I started to appear in videos.
Today. Well, it's kind of a low stakes theory, but it delves into a little bit more of high stakes.
This is
about the history of Kanto.
This sort of leans into that Silphco idea.
Kanto that happened a while ago, but we're going to use that as a jumping off point to talk about some things that don't really make sense when you consider them with the larger Pokemon canon. I theorise that during and slightly after the war, which delves into just before modern day Pokemon, that Kanto was a closed-off, isolationist country. This isn't dissimilar to North Korea in our universe, however it's not nearly that extreme. I'm not suggesting any concentration camps or anything. That would be... Kanto is behind the times, both technologically and
it would just be...
And all you need to do to prove this is compare it to Hoenn in Oras or Ruby and Sapphire, where Hoenn is way technically more advanced than Kanto. This is evident from the first
I don't know why I didn't edit the dog. I just left the dog in there. Even made a point of the dog being in there.
May have a Wii U or a GameCube, depending on the universe that you're in. Kanto has obviously been technologically repressed for some reason. Take Porygon, for example. Porygon is an artificial Pokemon. Of course,
this is when I started using the Pokemon that fucking moved, finally.
Patch or a software upgrade. The dubious disc, the upgrade. But such a thing does not exist inside Kanto because Kanto has been closed off from the rest of the world. The patch was developed elsewhere and never got introduced. This extends to culture as well. Many people in the Poke world speak of Kanto, but when you are adventuring in Kanto, nobody ever speaks about the outside world. The IRL reason for this is, of course, because the other regions didn't exist yet, as you...
I'm not sure if I buy this theory anymore.
The museum in Pewter City is, of course, again, culturally, scientifically behind, because they believe Aerodactyl to be some kind of dragon, when it is, of course, rock-flying type. There are no legends or myths or really...
Doing all of the...
Kanto, everything's really industrial.
Gotta do all this Poketubing sound effects, you know?
Legendary boss, Mewtwo, is artificially created. There is no religion, no culture, nothing like that to bring the community together. Speaking of bringing the community together, other regions have contest halls, Pokathalons, national parks, big cultural landmarks. What does Kanto have? Nothing. Doesn't really have anything. Doesn't really have any big cities other than Celadon and a push Cerulean, but everything else seems kind of small. Oh, that's one thing Kanto does have. Kanto has a casino run by a gang of villainous thugs. And speaking of Team Rocket, they are blatantly evil. In the open evil. They break into people's houses.
Nursing a heavy Pokemon theme. Wow.
Around the place.
Don't know where you get that from.
Pokemon to make them perform better. And everyone seems sort of fine with
it. The playlist is called Old Bad Pokemon Videos.
These teams are bad. These teams are evil. And people are reacting. People are scared. Police are intervening. But in Kanto, Team Rocket, it's just sort of there. This is because that in the grand scheme of things, a couple of thugs stealing one of your TMs is a small problem. They're just coming off a war. These are not happy people.
I don't think the war happened anymore. I have completely changed my tune on the war, but I think I addressed that in a later video.
But it's not just the people, the Pokemon are unhappy as well. Take Golbat, for instance. Golbat can evolve into Crobat in every other place in the world via happiness. Not one Golbat has evolved via happiness in Kanto because there are no Crobats there. And why are there no Crobats there? Because it's stressed because of the war-torn, low energy environment. The low energy, the isolationist, the
Low
lack of
energy.
diversity is stopping Golbat from being happy enough to evolve.
See, like-
and while we're talking about Pokemon, we then choose...
I get there's another turn there, but that's because I was reading the script.
Pokemon, well, not most, a large chunk of the Pokemon in Kanto are artificial.
Low energy,
Grinding,
sad. Low energy, sad,
Porygon.
Kanto.
And why would this be? Well, if they were fighting a war, they need to manufacture creatures to fight for them because, like I said, they're a small country. And they were industrious beforehand, so turning their pollution into a weapon is a prime industrial wartime tactic. So the astute among you...
There's a lot of eyebrows in this video. A lot of eyebrows. Just
technologically and culturally repressed. Why does the Pokemon professor live there? And you're right, why does Professor Oak, the leading scientist in Pokemon biology and evolution, why does he live in Kanto? Well, he doesn't. Professor Oak's house has been put into the Pokemon canon and it's not in Kanto. His lab is in Kanto, but his house is in Eterna City in Sinnoh. He obviously lived in Sinnoh, worked in Sinnoh, and then moved to Kanto to look after his grandson.
I hadn't realised how long my hair had gotten in like the last 2 years. Like I have so much more hair now. I also have put on a substantial amount of weight, but I have so much more hair now than I did then.
To share the Indigo
Yeah.
to encourage more tourism back into Kanto. The magnet train is a very slow, very behind the times, but it's a way to link more regions together. All isn't lost for Kanto. They're behind, but they're catching up. So, what do you think? Is Kanto an isolationist, war-torn North Korea analog, or am I just looking into this way too deep? Let me know what you think down below. There's comment boxes down there. And
But I don't hate this video. I don't think I believe it. I mean, it would make sense that Kanto was really, really behind, but
anyway, love you, bye.
That last line was really camp. I don't know if I buy the war anymore. Again, there's got to be a reason why it's so technologically behind, but I don't know.
Hello, Franz Mew here, and today we're going to take a look at something in Pokemon that I know a fair bit about. It's been in Pokemon since day one, and not a whole lot of people understand it. Today we're talking about
It reminds me. I love it. Yes. I love that. I love that drawing as well. Like that drawing is like the first ever like piece of fan art that I ever got. It's by Neela Draws on Twitter. Go check her out. She's rad.
Hypnosis.
You make me look real good.
Whether it works, and if it works in real life in any way the same as it does in game.
This was I really like this video, and it got a fair bit of attention. That like for the time, like 777 views was like the most views I'd ever had. This is another one where the background music is way too loud.
As early as the 1800s, hypnosis was being used as an anesthetic. James Esdale claims to have performed over 300 major surgeries using what he called mesmeric sleep in what is now modern-day India. The mesmeric sleep system continued to be used up until about the mid-1800s, where it was replaced with things like chloroform and local anesthetic. It was then picked up by Hippolyta Bernheim as a therapeutic measure.
Is that Hippolyte? I don't know how to pronounce that.
It was used to treat hysteria, and it wasn't until the 1900s where Sigmund Freud commented that it was the entertainers rather than the psychiatrists that are keeping hypnosis alive. It has then been used in tandem both as a form of entertainment on stage and screen, and in therapy, psychiatry, psychology as a means to treat anxiety, stress, and other things. Well, that's what it was, but what is it now? Well, in 1832, psychologist James Braid described neurohypnotism, or sleep of the nerves, as thusly.
The powers of the mind are so much engrossed with a single idea or train of thought as to render the individual unconscious of or indifferently conscious to all other ideas.
Another little stream crossing here.
The hypnotic sleep, therefore, is the very antithesis or opposite mental and physical condition to that which precedes and accompanies common sleep.
And I mean, kudos, got it in one. Don't really need to redefine that. But that's like old world sciencey talking. Let's sort of redefine that for modern words.
The multiverse
Hypnosis puts you in a state Well, you're not quite asleep.
It keeps
but
going.
You're focused on one thing way more than you're focused on literally everything else around you. It's not quite asleep, as that little indicator says, but it's easier than putting in the word trance because they're functionally similar until you start giving commands. In that sense, hypnosis is functionally identical to meditation, which is weird because meditate is a positive move in Pokemon and hypnosis is a negative. You tried, Game Freak, and you got about halfway there. So what is hypnosis and how does it work? Can you just go and have someone fall immediately into a hypnotic trance?
That was
well, not quite. This
solid
is
bit of
called
editing there.
Hypnotic induction, and there are two major types of them. There's the slower, more therapeutic, the more meditative one, and then there's what's called a snap induction. Slow inductions take a number of forms, including eye mirroring, physical body movement, and eye fixation. Eye fixation is the one that most people are familiar with, as it involves making the participant see a small repetitive motion and watch it over and over again. This used to be done with the rocking of a pendulum or pocket watch. This puts the participant in a calm, inner focus state.
It's where I make everyone fall asleep and get all of the
draw them
views.
into the meditative trance that they need to be in. This is the basis of the Pokemon Hypno, who of course holds and swings a pendulum to induce hypnosis on its victims. So big tick for Game Freak, you got that one right. The other kind of induction is what's called a snap induction. And instead of describing that, you're gonna watch one of the experts. Here's a clip from a video by a guy called Anthony Jacquin, who literally wrote the Bible on hypnosis. It's a book called Reality is Plastic. Here is him snap inducting a bartender.
That you're his favourite Hollywood superstar. Look at the spot on your hand, look at it. Look at that spot, right, just relax your arms, relax every muscle, every nerve, every fibre, just relax. Your head can fall forward like a bowling ball as you relax and go deep asleep now. Deep, 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 deep asleep. Your head will rest on my hand. You're safe, you're well, you're protected. Just go deep, deep asleep. As I rock your shoulder, you can go 10 times deeper. Deeper, deeper, and deeper. I'm going to
That fucking face.
Your eyes are open, you'll stand up, and you'll believe that I am Denzel Washington, the world-famous movie star Denzel Washington.
As you can see, he goes to shake the man's hand, which is a process that we can all do without thinking. Anthony then interrupts the process by grabbing the man's hand. Interrupting a reflex process like this kind of shuts the brain down temporarily. They're working on autopilot and they've been left with nothing to do. As you can see in the video, Anthony takes advantage of this by filling the gap in the brain's processing with a number of commands and confident motions, which the bartender is forced to agree with since he literally has no other processes in place. The bartender takes the initial
It is kind of like
command,
blue screening the
which
brain.
then allows Jacqueline
It's
to put him
wild.
in a state and then induce his Denzel Washington commands. This is the closest thing we have to the move hypnosis in real life, and while it's not exactly, it's close enough. So I'll give half a point to Game Freak because they weren't gonna put in an entire trance inducting minigame, although that would be really cool. I'd play that. Interestingly, later in the video,
I would play
Jacqueline
that. I'd
puts
play the hell out of
bartender
that.
back into a trance, and it's a lot easier because he doesn't have to lay the initial groundwork. He just goes basically straight back into the trance on command. Game Freak could have mirrored this by making hypnosis easier to land if it's landed before in the battle, but balance-wise that would be a train wreck, so I totally see why they didn't do that. So I give them an 8 out of 10 for that hypnosis move. Good on you, Game Freak. I'm not sure if you did your research or if you just looked out at the commands, but I do have one little bone of contention, and that is with a move combo that is used quite a lot by in-game players. I'm not sure how it's competitive, but in-game players use it a lot. Even gym leaders use it. That is Gengar's Hypnosis Dream Eater combination. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon's Pokédex
What is
entry
popping, Vin?
describes
Hello,
Dream
we're
Eater
still watching old videos.
The
This
user
is, I
eats
think, the
dreams
best
of a
video I
sleeping
made in previous,
target.
in
Half
that era.
damage is restored as HP. I'm not going to try and explain the logic of eating dreams. I'm just going to take it as rote that a ghost or psychic Pokemon can literally reach into your head and devour your dreams to restore their health. No. My bone of contention comes with, when you're in a hypnotic trance, you're not asleep. You're not dreaming. So, if you're not dreaming, there's nothing for poor little Gengar to eat. Sorry boy, no snacks for you. And that is a big cross on that for Game Freak. So, as Meatloaf said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but this is more of a 1.5 out of 3 ain't bad, which is, well, 1.8. I'll be generous. I'm going to give them a C-. Well, hypnosis, what do you think? Agree, disagree?
Again, this is the thing,
Comment
like,
below.
this
Let's
is-
start a discussion.
This is one of the better videos I made. Like, I researched the shit out of this. I did just know quite a lot of it, because like I've done hypnosis work before. I just sort of it was so very in my wheelhouse. I couldn't not do it. But I still think I look terrible, and I do some really
If
weird.
not in the comments, then try my socials. They're all in
there.
there in the description, along with my Twitch link. I'm streaming 3 times a week, playing Pokemon, House Flipper, and a whole bunch of other chill stuff. It's a nice time for everybody involved. But until next time, love you, bye.
That's a solid video.
Hello, Franz Mew here. Time for another low.
And this looks like garbage. Why does that look so bad? Because the windows are wide open.
And well, Let's Go has just come out. Everyone else is making videos about Kanto, so I think it's about time that I unearthed a pet theory that I have had for quite a while about a Kanto gym leader. This pet theory was actually strengthened by something that was in Let's Go, that was also in Pokemon Yellow that I hadn't thought about because I haven't played Pokemon Yellow since I was about 12. It's time to talk about...
Was I 12 when I played Pokemon Yellow?
Surge. And yes, I did say Lieutenant Surge. We're in Britain, this is how we pronounce that word. Because until recently, the go-to theory was that Lieutenant Surge fought in the Great Kanto War. After all, in Red and Blue, and I believe... Yeah,
way overexposed, but...
does mention that Pokemon helped him.
If you underexpose it, you see the bong I have on my windowsill that I forgot to move.
Military type words in his
so I had to keep that overexposed.
Guy. But in Pokemon Let's Go, they decided to use the Pokemon Yellow quote in that to him, Pokemon battles are war. This was definitely an intentional.
So you can kind of see it,
possibly to dampen down the great.
That's why I keep covering it with pictures of Surge.
After all, a massive countrywide war in a casual, relaxed kids game isn't really ideal. Or maybe Lieutenant Surge isn't.
And yeah, I go back to saying Lieutenant right after.
After all, what kind of soldier gives out his autograph on multiple occasions? Well, I believe that Lieutenant Surge is in fact an actor. Lieutenant Surge is an actor that plays.
This is a great theory. I love this theory. And yes, this was still a family-friendly channel at this point.
Show. After all, the games did refer to him as the Lightning American. And America isn't a place in the Pokemon world, but in a TV show where he was a lieutenant for the fictional country of America.
We've all yeah, it's a common problem. It's a common problem.
Pokemon is a TV show. So what's beyond the realms of belief that in the Pokemon world there exists a world where America is real as a TV show.
America!
So when Surge says Pokemon helped him in the war, he's referring to the TV show. He was so successful in the role that it became ubiquitous with his name and his face. They matched up and he decided to just go with it. I'll be Lieutenant Surge, I'll talk in military speak, I'll wear my old costume. And if you think this is a little bit ridiculous, that somebody wouldn't just start behaving like a character because the character is successful, I'm going to turn your attention towards Mr. T. Mr. T played B.A. Baracus in the A-Team, and since then, he's kind of just kept being B.A. Baracus. He hasn't really turned it off at any point. And it's working for him, so why not? But in the Pokemon World Tournament, the announcer suggests that Surge may well be Unovan. But you have to factor in that this announcer is in fact announcing in Unova. And Surge will have obviously put down America as his place of home residence in the application form. So the announcer, who obviously reads it and goes, America, that's not a real place, that's fictional, that's like Hogwarts, would have just gone, I'm in Unova, what's a good way to get a cheer from an audience? Let's suggest he's Unovan, that's going to get a big cheer.
I mean, it makes sense.
Field advantage. So what do you think? Is Surge an actor? Have I just disgraced the military?
Left David Tennant Surge. Yes.
Let me know what you think down below, and while you're there, click all the links in that little box. There's
I wonder if the windowsill box shows up again.
All my social medias.
I totally forgot that it was there.
About this theory. And if you want to become a member of the Illuminati, subscribe to me over on YouTube. Link over to my Twitch in the down below. Follow me on Twitch. We're streaming 3 times a week. We're doing some chill stuff. We're doing
I like this theory.
Serious gaming.
I keep going with this theory. Like this theory is still one I believe. The Surge is Mr. T thing. I'll keep hammering that home.
Hello, Franz Mew here.
It's gone this time. Wicked. I think I realised it was there and moved it.
And well, I shouldn't really disappoint the boss, so let's get to it.
Question 1.
What is the Pokemon video you're most proud of making this year? Or, if you haven't made any videos yet, what video are you most
The Muminati was great. It was a solid name.
Well, this year, I guess the thing I'm most excited to make is the channel, because I've only been Poketubing for like 6 months. But I think the video that I'm most sort of proud of is the Clay How Deep Is This Gym video.
How deep is this gym?
I was struggling for a video.
This is the point where I start wearing eyeliner as well.
Stream
Solid, like, you can see like the evolution from like just dressing like a dude all the time to more like look at that outfit. I wish I could fit into that outfit still.
It all just sort of happened organically in the chat. People started talking about.
Yes, this video is very quiet, isn't it?
How crazy deep this gym is, how crazy long this lift is, and I've never sort of gone deep into sort of like the math and the science of a video before, and it was really fun to do. And the math is a little bit hokey.
Again, my audio has always been crap.
Millisecond, but I'm really proud of the video. That one. I also really enjoyed doing the hypnosis video, since that took stuff that I do outside of YouTube and managed to integrate it in, and I think that's the start of a really good series. I've got some other ideas for similar videos in that vein. So yeah, those 2 videos I'm super proud of.
Number 2. What advice would you give to someone starting Poketubing?
I don't think I'm the authority to talk about Poketubing in general, because again, I've only been
Poketubing.
6 months. But I'm going to take some advice I get given from the stage and magic and stand-up world stuff that I've been doing for like 10 years. And that is just make stuff and do stuff and put it out there. It's going to be bad. It's going to start bad because you don't start perfect. Nobody starts perfect. But if you are afraid to put anything out, you'll never improve. Start bad, everyone starts bad, and then eventually you'll be less bad, and then eventually you'll be good, and then eventually you'll be amazing. But just make stuff and put stuff out, and don't worry about
this is solid advice.
Terrible or bad. The video feels really weird because I haven't written a proper script, so it's gonna.
That's solid advice. Just do stuff. Just make stuff. If you want to make stuff, just make stuff. Don't wait until you're making good stuff. Just what have these videos proved? That I didn't wait until I made good stuff. I just made stuff. Just make stuff and put stuff out. It's gonna start bad, then you'll be less bad, then you'll be good, then you'll be great. Just fucking do things. That's my advice for you. Me from 2 years ago, solid advice.
Gonna be a little bit more improv-y. Hope you guys don't mind that.
Number 3. What can your viewers expect from you next year?
More of me, more of this. One of the reasons I switched to a face cam instead of just an audio voiceover was I wanted to be more than just a script. I wanted this to get sort of slightly.
I got too lazy
why
and couldn't afford the time to write script and also edit.
Costume or anything. This is what I look like in my day to day. Maybe sometimes it's a bit more extravagant, but I want this to be more personal. I want to expand beyond Pokemon as well. Over on my Twitch, I've been playing a whole mess of different games. I haven't actually streamed.
How long do I never expand from Pokemon until I just give up doing this kind of video.
I want to constrain myself to one series. There's a reason Low Stakes Theories isn't called Low Stakes Poke Theories. There's a reason it starts with tiny things in our favourite games, not our favourite Pokemon.
Yeah, this was just full on like nearly 2 years ago.
More of my personal interests and less Pokemon, but more video games in general.
Number 4. Let's go Pikachu or let's go Eevee.
Let's go Pikachu. I love Eevee.
The Zelda Crisps one is a solid. That never went unlisted because it's
having
great.
Having an Eevee that can't evolve is kind of terrible. It's basically a Rattata at that point. Yeah, just another normal type.
Number 5. Keep it short. How did you feel about Let's Go?
I haven't played it yet. I can't afford it. It's actually third on my list behind Smash Bros. And Super Mario Party for Switch games that I want to buy. But I've been watching a lot of my mates play it on Twitch, and it's good. It looks great. It plays great. The Pokeball Go Plus apparently is really cool. It's a spin-off game. It might be main series canon, but it's a spin-off game. Don't get so up in arms if it's not got every feature, because Mystery Dungeon didn't have every feature.
I have thoughts about Let's Go now. Let's Go is a solid fucking game. It's not for me, but it doesn't have to be for me. It's a great fucking game. Solid fucking game. Zach loved it, and I loved watching Zach play it. Solid fucking game.
Number 6. Name a channel, preferably a smaller channel than yours, that you think your audience members will love.
I'm going to curveball this a little bit. I'm not going to name a YouTube channel. I'm going to name a Twitch channel, and that is twitch.tv/whatmattberry. We run a Discord server together, me and Matt. We're friends we go way back. Actually, Keldamist and Ayakara are also in the Discord server, so I'm going to recommend all of them. They're really cool, really chill videos, guys.
The universe is crossed again.
There's something for everyone there. I'm going to put their 3 pictures here. Description.
Go to those 3 channels.
Links all in the description, that's what I meant to say. But 100% recommend these 3 guys.
Well, gotta have front rep.
And finally,
always gotta have
tag
front rep.
3 people.
My first tag goes to a guy called Elite Shadow. He's a small Indian Poketuber. We've been chatting a lot recently, and I think he's cool. And then I'm going to expand beyond the Poketube world into sort of the generic gaming YouTube sphere, because my other 2 go to Harkwit and Keldamist. I love both their content. They're both sort of very different content. Keldamist's YouTube channel is Monster Hunter challenge runs that are really cool, and Harkwit does lamplight reviews that are these really stylish, really cool video game reviews. You guys, if you just substitute the word Poketube for YouTube, I'm sure you have Let's Go opinions. But yeah, that's the tag. Before you
none
go,
of them ever made those videos.
Channel, thank you for coming and saying
but
hi.
I didn't expect them
like
to.
and subscribe if you liked and wanted to see more. Join the Muminati.
Really push that, and then it drops off a cliff
Follow me
later.
over on Twitch. There's a whole lot of me content that it's very fun, and I get very angry at video games sometimes, and that's also fun to watch. But also I get really chill at video games when we're playing things like House Flipper, and it's all lovely and fun.
I just keep going for a bit at the end of these videos
to shout words at me. But until next time, love you, bye.
Hello friends, Mew here, and happy holidays. It's the end of the year, and that means one of 2 things. 1, exchanging gifts with all of your friends and family and work colleagues that you kind of
This is a garbage video.
£20 gifts for. And 2, lots and lots of baked goods. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's, they all have their own special baked good. So, because screw diets, we're gonna do some themed Pokemon baked goods, because even though I keep saying I'm going to expand beyond Pokemon, I don't.
This is where I get the new glasses that I still have today.
So we're going to do some Christmas Pokemon baked goods, and that means we're going to talk about Poffins.
I need to get back. There's more House Flipper that I need to play.
4 equivalent of Pokeblocks in Gen 3. You played a little mini game. You threw in berries. You did some touchscreen gimmicks, and you got a Poffin out of it. To be fair, I didn't really rate Gen 4, so I
think this will be the last one we watch, by the way.
But this is what I think. You throw in berries, you play a little mini game. I think it's a spinny game.
Spinny game.
And poof,
big old portmanteau.
You feed it, and it increases the mood of the Pokemon, or the moves. The mood of the moves. Depending on the berries you throw in, you get different flavors which correlate to, like I said, the
mood of the
Pokemon, like cool, beauty, smart, whatever. Cute is cute one. Cute might be the other one. And I want to create a Poffin on the channel that is as accurate to in-game Poffins as possible. And when I did that, I came across 2 stumbling blocks. The first one is the game takes about 90 seconds to complete, and then boom, you get a Poffin at the end that's fully cooked. And the second one is the actual making the Poffin in the game, because you sort of stir it in a pan over an open flame. It sort of feels like a naan bread or something. But we're gonna focus on the first one, and then we'll do the second one at another time. So
we never do the second one because this is a garbage idea. Kitchen videos are the worst.
We're gonna talk mug cake, because mug cakes, if you don't know, all the ingredients of the cake pared down into a single serving. You chuck in a mug, mix up, throw in the microwave, and poof, you've got a cake. And this is perfect for the recipe.
This is such a bad idea. Never do cooking videos. Never do cooking videos.
Pokemon can eat it in one go, and it's very easy to make all the different flavors. Today we're going to be making a spicy one because it's Christmas, so I'm going to use some Christmassy mixed spice, you know, like your allspice, your cloves, your nutmeg, your cinnamon, that sort of thing. Get a nice, warm Christmas cake. So even though this is getting chucked in the microwave, we are going to do it with a modicum of skill. So grab a mug and grab a bowl and sift in 4 tablespoons of self-raising flour, caster sugar, and as much spice as you see fit. I'm putting about a tablespoon in because this spice is
never do cooking videos.
I don't want too much. Mix all this together and dump it into your mug, and then return to the same bowl you just used. Mix together an egg, 3 tablespoons of milk, and the same amount of oil. You know what?
Never do cooking videos.
Just because it's Christmas. You can then add a drop or two of vanilla essence if you like, for flavour. Mix all this together as well and add it to the mug. Mix all that together until you can't see any more flecks of dry ingredients. At this point you can chuck in raisins if you want in place of berries because they are made with berries. I don't have any raisins so I'm not going to do that. And then chuck it in the microwave for about 2 minutes until it looks like cooked cake. So the microwave just pinged.
No, you're not down for eating cooks because
our poker bread, our puffin, and it doesn't look the most appetizing thing in the world, I'm not gonna lie, but it doesn't quite look like cake, doesn't quite look like bread. I think that shot of her might be a bit too much moisture for it, but...
Oh, it's nasty, it looks so bad.
Hot.
If my kitchen wasn't an absolute fucking shit tip,
taste-wise,
because we live in a tiny house and it's like
a Pokemon would enjoy this.
A Pokemon would enjoy this.
Maybe not. Oh, there's bits of flour in it, or maybe there might be bits of egg that have scrambled. Well, I'm gonna eat the rest of that off camera because that's actually quite tasty. That was definitely a bit of scrambled egg.
Bad.
Didn't mix that enough. So
bad.
My holiday special. And as usual, my dog's going off in the background. That was Christmas puffin holiday special thing. What did you all think? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're there, click all the buttons that are in the description, like the like and the subscribe and the Twitch and the Twitter. And you could join the Muminati following over here.
Might make more weird shit.
Fun and games. But until next time.
But I won't make a video of the cooking
awesome. And love you, bye.
If making a cooking video is garbage, I'm down to like eat stuff that's a terrible recipe, but I'm not down to like make it. Anyway, it's like getting to like end of stream time, unfortunately. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find somebody to do a raid on. If you can find me weird recipes, I might just go fuck it and do more weird streams like this. Of just making weird shit. Which of these people shall we raid? Like, should we raid into Brain Mage? I like Brain Mage. We're gonna raid into Brain Mage. Slash raid? Is it slash raid? Yes. Brain Mage. So if you are new here, this is a really weird stream for you to come in on. Because this was a random Patreon stream, but it was nice to see like the progression. I feel like my current videos are better? ? They're definitely very different. But yeah, I had a nice time watching these, and you can watch the rest. They're in a playlist on the channel. I never told you that I shaved my beard way too close, so I look like I'm clean shaven today, and that's bad. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. Thank you everyone that helps on the Patreon. You made this stream possible, and you made the release of all those old bad videos possible again. And thanks all of you. I will be back next week for something. Go raid Brain Mage. Tell him I said hi. You've all got your emotes. Say a thing. If it's less than 10, I don't think he gets a notification anymore, which is garbage. So just, tell him Eden sent you, I guess. But yeah, I'll catch you on the flippy flop and love you. Bye.